And we're live. What's up, everybody? It's a special edition of what we're watching, also in conjunction with Talking Films. So it's in the Talking Films Facebook group. And why is it in conjunction with Talking Films? Because I got the man, the legend himself on with me tonight, Mr. Justin. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Hello, everyone. Yeah, this is a really special little event here. We finally got a movie that we never thought was coming.
Exactly.
So,
Took how many years to get this out for?
yep, 4 years. Yep,
4 damn years. Oh, and we got a
yeah.
viewer. So say hi if you're there. And yes, took us 4 long years and
Oh man,
a
yeah.
lot of crying from the fans, a lot of campaigns and
Oh yeah, I had a couple
hashtags.
sleepless nights. Yeah.
hmm And that part of it is cool, right? Because we get to see fans have so much more power today than they would have had, when we were growing up, certainly, as far
Oh
as
yeah,
what
definitely.
is put out. And the only other time that I can think this happening is, funnily enough, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Remember when they showed that first
Oh
trailer and the
yeah,
fans were like, "This is not
yeah,
Sonic. Like it looks like a little
yeah,
demon."
yeah.
And
They
and
changed them.
they changed
They made them who we grew up on, or who I grew up on. I
exactly,
mean,
exactly. It was so cute. I
yeah.
took my little cousin to see that one. I think that was the last movie I saw before the pandemic hit in the theaters.
Whoa. I
So
think
kind
mine
of
was
a
The Hunt. The Hunt was my
oh,
last one. Yeah.
I know
But
that
yeah,
movie.
Sonic, we just watched that was it last weekend?
So
It was last
cute.
weekend or the weekend before? Oh yeah, we loved it. It was fun. Yeah. We're
Such a
we're
cute
waiting for that
movie.
sequel with Tails and, you know, Jim Carrey's full blown what's his name? It's been so long now.
Oh my God, yeah, what's his name? It's Doctor something, not Roboto.
I
Uh,
can't remember.
oh God, look at us. Wait. Sonic the Hedgehog villain. We got Google, guys. And I type fast. So
Yeah, but
it's
he had
Dr.
this whole look.
Robotnik.
Oh
Evil
yeah.
Robotnik.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, and I was happy with that last scene because we did get to because I that upsets me when you go see a movie and they don't make the characters look like what you're used to, like the first He-Man movie way back in the day. It's like,
Oh.
oh man, that's not Skeletor, even though he was cool, great evil villain. But I'm like, that's not really Skeletor. That's not really He-Man. That's not what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And then you had the little dwarf was in the whole movie. Like you remember that? That little troll guy
Oh
or
yeah, that was
something?
horrible. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for that movie, but it's really not a great movie. So,
No, not at all. No.
the fans made it happen with Sonic,
Hmm.
but the fans made it happen again with Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was for so long just this myth. Does it exist? Does it not exist? Does it exist? And you got to think Zack
Hmm.
loved a little bit of that attention. Come on, he was egging it on,
Oh,
uh,
definitely.
posting some
Definitely.
screenshots every once in a while.
Oh yeah. I believe I just read an article, was it yesterday, where he said he was even putting like the Snyder cut up on the internet, getting fans kind of talking about it, and then once they started talking about it, he, like you said, he started getting more involved a little bit. And same as what's his name that played Cyborg? He was a big help
Oh,
for
Ray.
the yeah, he kept posting it like, bring the Snyder cut, or we want the Snyder cut. And Ben Affleck helped, and Gal Gadot, yeah, she did as well. So everyone was really, want I think they all knew the cut it ended up happening was, it wasn't the right film. And obviously from the
Exactly.
response from the fans, as well, I wanted to love it. I really did. I saw it twice in the theater, if you can believe that. And I left empty both
No,
times, really
no,
upset. And
twice.
yeah, and
But we're gonna talk a little bit about some differences between the what we felt with the first movie
mhm.
versus this one. But I'm like you. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theater, though I can't
You did.
remember. But
I remember you did. Yeah,
yeah,
you
I'm
did.
pretty damn sure I did. But I couldn't remember anything from it. I tried to watch it again it's almost like I did one of those Men in Black things with myself. I was just like, I just want to forget that I saw that because I could not remember anything from it. And then when the last season of Game of Thrones was out, I did
Mm,
the what do you call those things? Like the free trial to watch it on HBO. Here in Brazil, they
mm-hmm,
don't have HBO Max; it's HBO Go.
mm-hmm.
And that was the main movie that was being advertised. Justice League, Justice League. I was like, I might as well try watching it again and see if I like it. And that mustache comes out, and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
I think I made it.
yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it later, guys. So tonight, this is what's gonna happen. Justin and I are gonna give you our review of the movie. Non-spoiler for all you guys that haven't watched it. I don't know who you are. Oh no, I know who you are. Your name is Peter Baird, who have
Oh
not watched
gosh.
this movie.
Ah, Peter.
Yes, who haven't watched this
Oh,
movie
Peter. Oh, so
and
upset
never
with
will.
Peter.
Yes. We'll give you some non-spoiler thoughts because we're nice. But guys, this is like the big event movie. I doubt many have not watched it already. So then we'll get
Hmm.
into a little bit more spoiler stuff after. We'll talk some differences between this cut and the Whedon cut. And then at the end, we'll just give some breakdowns, our favorite scenes, favorite characters, um, what we felt just in general about some very specific stuff that happens in the movie. So without further ado, let's get into just our thoughts on it. So what do you think? What's your critical review of this movie?
My critical review is, I don't know, man. I watched it and I was a, fan watching it. I was nervous, getting ready. It's been so long and I was rooting for Snyder on this one. I love this whole Hollywood, comeback tale, coming back from a dark time, and he gives us this 4 hour uncut movie, to watch. So I was a little nervous, the early reviews, we had the whole, a lot of people loved it, and then you're seeing the negative reviews start pouring in a little bit. So I started watching it, and I was pretty sure right from the beginning when it starts with Superman screaming, and you see like all the other heroes, like everyone knows, like they hear this big scream of Superman dying, and that pretty much sets the tone right there in the beginning.
Agreed, I
Gets you,
agree.
it just gets you right in the mindset. Like, all right, we're back to Superman's dead. There's dread. There's not a lot of hope. You see Lois, walking to the same spot, the memorial or the statue spot of Superman, and over, I love the chapters in it. I dug you know, the uh, the action. I love the serious tone of it more. I mean, I really dug the heart of the film. You got to learn more of the characters. They all had a purpose. What they were wanting to do. They were fighting their own, demons here and there. Overall, I loved it. I mean, my girlfriend that watched it with me, she loved it as well. I mean, we were right into it. There was a few scenes of some of the action. My heart was racing. I was actually a little nervous. I didn't know exactly what would happen, and right from the get go, the chapters, I really dug that. I liked the chapters. I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of felt like a comic book a little bit. Um,
How many times did you watch it?
we watched it twice actually. So yeah, I mean, we watched it was it the first day it came when it come out? Thursday? I believe it was
Came out
Thursday, and
on
then we
Thursday.
watched,
Yep.
yeah, and then we watched it again yesterday. Yeah. So,
Cool.
yep.
Yeah, I
Um,
felt the same, dude. I agree with you. That opening scene just sets the tone so much better than well, I don't want to get into Snyder Whedon comparatives yet, but you can't,
right, right.
can't pass over the fact that yes, two different tones to the movie. The first, the Whedon cut right from the gate, it's funny, ha ha
Hmm.
ha. There's
Yeah.
Superman joking with some kids, and in
Hmm.
this one, it's the death of a god, and his shout permeates through everything, and it's like whoa, and
Hmm.
it felt like so much more of a sequel to Batman versus Superman. It was like. it made me want to go back and watch Batman versus Superman because like, oh shit, this is like
Yeah.
right, like it's right there. It's like we're
Mm-hmm.
feeling not just the grief of Superman gone, but the effects of Superman gone because his shout permeates through the universe and it wakes certain things up. So it made
Yep.
more sense too.
Yeah.
So uh, I thought that was very important for the film. It made more sense. I felt it was very coherent thematically. I think there were some very strong themes with fathers,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
really important through it all with Cyborg and the Flash, and even Superman to an extent, because they did when they revive him. Well, guys, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, non spoilers, but the broad strokes. Obviously, I mean it's a movie from 2017, as Craig correctly mentioned. I mean the broad stroke of the movie is still the same storyline. It's just a different
Right.
movie. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, surprise. Spoilers, Superman comes back to life. And they did
Right.
put the picture of Pa Ken in there in the water with him to bring during that scene, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, the pacing was great. It didn't feel like 4 hours. That's the most amazing
No.
part about it, is that
Yeah.
I don't know how he managed to do that. Maybe it's because of the chapters and it felt like you were just binging, Stranger Things or something, whatever your favorite Netflix show is. But it
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like 4 hours, which is weird because I love me a long movie, but The Godfather feels long. It's like, it's amazing, but you're going to be sitting there through half an hour of a fucking wedding. And you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I need to be in the right mindset to pop in The
Right.
Godfather as much as I love it.
Well, it's
But
like you said, the pacing is he fantastically did it with the pacing. I mean,
yeah,
I know, like you just said, I mean, it didn't feel like 4 hours, so I was in on every word that they were going
yeah,
with. I was curious.
exactly.
I
And
was
I
a
watched
fan. Yeah.
I watched it twice also. Well, I hope my boss is not listening to this. I doubt she is. But but I teach online classes, guys. So on Thursday, it happened to be like kind of like a test day. So I lucked out because the kids were all testing while, doing online classes. So I had really nothing to do with just kind of sit and stare at a screen. So I stared at Justice League for throughout the day. So I watched it in bits and pieces throughout my classes, and then after it was done, like I finished my workday at 6 p.m. My little cousin happens to be with me this last week, and I was like, "We're watching the Justice League," and we started
Hmm.
again. So I almost watched it immediately back to back, and then I watched it with him, and he's like my little critic because I'm pretty sure he fell asleep through some parts of Batman versus Superman. I took him to the theater to watch that. Understandably so,
Oh,
because it's a slow movie until you
yeah.
get to like the big fight scenes at the end.
Hmm.
And I don't think he remembers much of like myself. I'm pretty sure I took him. He's like my little movie buddy. I'm pretty sure he doesn't remember much from the first Justice League either because it kind of sucked. And
Yeah.
this one, dude, he was in it. Like he sat through all of it and he loved it. He loved it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's great.
and he's
Well, that's
15. So, that's
oh,
just to
that's
show you.
beautiful.
No,
Yep.
it's just to show you because it's tough to get a 15-year-old to sit quietly without looking at their phone for more than 20 minutes.
Hmm.
And so I gauge some movies and shows because he watched Game of Thrones with me. We started that
Nice.
when he was about 13 or so. I was like, yeah, I think he can handle it. He can handle some tits. Okay. Uh,
Some.
although although Justin, you're not gonna like this. He didn't like the last season at all. He was like,
Oh,
what did he
dude.
say? He's
The
like, Justin, what did he say? He's like, Jon Snow was a piece of shit or something. He said something like that. It's like Jon Snow was an idiot.
Well, I tell you what, we just rewatched it, just what, a couple, just past month or last
Yeah,
month.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for that last season. The whole time I'm watching, I'm just dogging people. Like, you guys, just deal with it. It's, it is what it is. It's what it was
Yes.
supposed to be. Man, after that, the battle with the White Walkers, the show just switched gears. I mean, it switched gears that whole season, but it
Yes.
really switched gears after that war there. I mean, everything was just like snap, snap, snap. Like everyone's like totally out of character, and not just Daenerys or Tyrion. Everybody. It was just like everyone's like, well, okay, so we hung out with Daenerys for like 2 to 3 to 4 seasons or so. Now she's evil. They were already plotting against her, and what, episode 2 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, man, honestly, rewatching it again, I'm not a big fan of that final
Yeah.
season.
I
I
think
mean,
I watched it with Pete. I think we actually did a little, we would do our little lives after every episode. And I think I enjoyed it more the first time around. I didn't like the last episode, even
no,
on the first time watching. But second
hmm,
time watching, I was like, I was like, what is
yeah,
happening? Like,
yeah,
and just whatever. Okay.
yeah,
Let's talk happy things like Justice
okay,
League, how fucking amazing it is. So yes, guys, I gave it like a 5 out of 5. I mean,
yeah,
for me, I'm a fan. I'm a DC fanboy, but I'm not one of those fanboys who can't say something is shit when it's shit. So
right,
there's plenty of DC movies where I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. But
hmm,
and even the Snyder movies, I like them, but I don't think he hit the mark completely. I really like Man of Steel, but it's not a movie I've gone back to watch many times because it's
exactly,
it's
yeah,
burdensome. It's a burdensome movie. It's like very down. I mean, it's got
yeah,
some of the best Superman action scenes you'll ever, but it's like, wow, this is really depressing. It's like not a movie I'm pumped up to see like I would with the original Superman with Christopher Reeve. That's like a movie you
yeah,
just want to pop in because it makes it feel good at the. In
hmm,
Batman versus Superman, as much as I think the ultimate cut is a huge improvement on it,
absolutely,
again,
big
it's
improvement, yeah,
not but it's still not a movie that I'm like, oh yeah, let me go back and watch that like I would maybe the Nolan movies or the Burton movies. Cause it's like
hmm,
it's a burdensome movie. You're like, oh God, we gotta sit through this and that, till you get to the real meat of it. In
hmm,
this one, I'm pumped to watch it again. I would pop it in
absolutely,
after the
man,
live, like,
yeah,
okay, I'm not doing
yeah,
anything tomorrow. Let me put in another 4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think he managed to balance that very well. The more serious tone that he definitely has put into the Snyderverse, as they call it,
hmm,
but it's still it moves like it's got like a life and a heart, like we said. I
it's
think
got
that's what.
that, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say it's got that epic feeling to it, though. It's like this big epic picture, of
Yes, it felt like watching Lord of the Rings,
yeah. I
especially
mean,
those some scenes we'll talk about later with Dark Side. It definitely felt like it had a that opening prologue to Lord of the Rings, where
yeah,
they're talking about the kings of
yeah,
the kingdom of men and the kingdom of the elves and the kingdom of
hmm,
the dwarfs all came together to fight. What
yeah,
the fuck is his name? Sauron, you
yep,
know? So
yep.
it's definitely got some Lord of the Ring feel to it, and I would put it up there. I haven't made a list in my head right now of like my favorite superhero movies, but it's definitely in the top 10. Could probably sneak into the top 5 of my favorite superhero movies of all time. Easily.
Y- Yeah,
Easily.
I gotta think on them because there's so many of them.
They
But
are.
right now I'm riding on such a high with this film. Like
Yeah.
I've been talking about it nonstop. Like you just said, you've watched it twice. You want to go back, and we were just talking. My girlfriend and I yesterday, or no, today. She said, "Honey, I actually want to watch. I'd like to see Man of Steel again." And then Batman versus Superman, the ultimate cut. That's the only cut, by the way. And
I'm glad
Zack
you're a
Snyder.
champion of that. I'm so glad
Yeah,
you're a champion of that because you mention it so much in the group, and I don't think people actually believe you or me when we say, man,
yeah,
it makes that movie I mean, I
It's a
liked
world
it
of
in the
difference.
theatrical version,
Yeah, I
but
liked it. It was just,
but
it was a little confusing here and there, the
exactly,
theatrical. I mean, I wasn't fully
exactly.
sure what was going on at all times, or Lex Luthor's plans, or all his little schemes and everything he was setting up so perfectly.
Yeah,
Um, in the ultimate cut, you get all that. You
you
understand
get all
everything what's
that.
going down,
Exactly.
and then it finally leads to that big fight in the end. In the theatrical, I mean, it's cool and all, but I can see where people were like, "All right, this is a depressing Batman. He's taking pain pills. He's banging ladies. He's miserable. He's beating people up at night and branding them. He's all like, brooding Batman, and Superman's down. And then you got Lex Luthor out of nowhere having all these plans, and it just speeds up a little bit. Like, all right, what's going on here? Like what happened to
For
Superman
sure.
here? Or like,
Yeah.
the ultimate cut, it's added what, an extra hour? I think it's an extra
No, I don't think
hour.
it's that much. I think it's like 30 or 40 minutes. I don't think it's that much, but it's
Whoa,
important stuff.
it's very important stuff, and
Uh,
they also added the blood. It's a rated R movie. Um, That's Zack Snyder, though. You got to look back when he started. Of course, he did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which I enjoyed a lot. Then he comes up with 300, which is a comic, and that was violent and rated R. The action scenes were good. Then he came out with Watchmen, and that's another one where there's different versions of that one. There's the theatrical, then there's a director's cut, the one you should watch, you know, and then there's a ultimate cut to that one where they added like a comic book and then another kid reading a comic book, and there's like 30 minutes of that, and I think that's a little too much. Even the director Zack Snyder has said, that's only for the hardcore fans,
yeah,
because the comic little parts, that's 30 minutes of extra footage. It takes you out of the movie a little bit. I mean, the story kind of goes with the movie as well. What's happening in it, in the certain times of the movie. It's almost like chapters for that too, but an extra 10 minutes of cartoon guy sitting on a boat or something. But either
I
way, then he goes into Batman and Superman, and he's even acknowledged this. He's like, I understand people didn't like the you know, Batman not being the Batman that everyone knows. That's a more darker Batman. Robin's dead. He's
mhm.
he's changed. He's taking pain pills. He's drinking and beating guys up at night and branding them. And then him and Superman are fighting, and everyone's like, "What the heck?" Like it's just, I don't know. It just didn't work with a lot of people. Me, I didn't mind it because I was used
I
to his style.
mhm.
So after Man of Steel and Watchmen and all those, I don't know. And then, yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth seeing. I know people had some of the problems with the CGI in that one. I don't really remember the Doomsday parts of that one
Yeah,
as well right
I,
now. I
it
think there
was
was a little
okay. I
bit
wasn't
problems
a
with
big
it.
fan of the Doomsday design,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it compared to like the cartoon and comic book version, but it was all
yeah.
right. By the way, the theatrical release PG-13 is 151 minutes in length, and the Ultimate Edition is 183. So yeah,
Oh,
about
okay.
half an hour or so. It's not that
Oh,
much.
wow. Wow, I thought
Um,
it was way more. Well, like you said, the scenes he added, they were important. Like he really needed
yes,
them.
yeah, yeah. No,
And it
because
and
like
it shows WB should leave him alone a little bit when he releases these
exactly,
films.
I
Let
know.
him.
It
They
makes you
need to
want.
learn to trust their director, or the guy that's going to give you has the vision to do this.
Exactly. And we Justin and I were talking a little bit about Grace from Beyond the trailer, and she made a point about that too. She mentioned something about how they the Justice League script had been floating around for a while, even before Avengers Endgame. And it was darker and it was more dour, and they
Mm,
didn't believe in it. And she mentioned how it's not the first time Warner Brothers has not trusted their director, and then Marvel goes and does the very thing that WB could have done and been
yep.
leading the pack, at
Hmm.
least 2 or 3 years before, and they see that it's a success. Oh my God,
Yep.
here
Yep.
comes Thanos and he kills everybody, and it's like the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
So
And that's probably my
And
favorite out
Marvel
of the Marvels.
supposedly in Marvel is supposedly the happier, kid-friendly universe of the two,
Yep.
at least cinematically, what speaking. And
Mm-hmm.
yet we got a super down, down movie where everybody basically dies. So well, exactly what you said. They need to
Oh,
trust their
absolutely.
directors. And I think Patty Jenkins. Oh, sorry, just one last thing. I think even Patty Jenkins complained a little bit about that because the one thing that I didn't like about Wonder Woman when I saw it, I'm talking about the first one, is that last act where it's just a CGI battle with Wonder
Yeah.
Woman and Ares, and it was just
Yeah.
boring. And she
Yeah, it
said
was.
later
Yeah.
that the studios forced her into making, like, having that scene. She's like, we need,
Mm-hmm.
the studio's like, we need a big CGI extravaganza ending. And she was like, no, but, more studio
Yeah, they
interference.
don't. I hope they learn their lesson after this. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is all positive feedback almost, right, for the new Justice League. I mean, everything I'm looking at, everyone's loving it. I mean, yes, there's people that don't, but there's a stronger voice for this movie than there's been for probably any of them or any of the Snyderverse, anyways. You know, with his Batman Superman. I mean, I know Batman Superman made a lot of money, but it didn't. It had a pretty negative response, the theatrical cut,
Well, it's
and
got four and a half stars, or no, actually like a full 4 stars on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't always trust. But compared to the
no,
first one, Justice League 2017 has two,
yeah,
so it's at a
that's nice.
40%, and this is at 74% freshness scale. Um,
Mhm.
but it's got, audience score is 96% though, and that's
Nice.
the one you
I
sometimes
think
have to
I
be.
am. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I'm pretty sure IMDb rated the newer one. What was it? Last I looked, it was like 8.9 out of 10, and that was like one of the highest for the DC world. I'm pretty positive. So
Let me check it out
every
here.
all these little sites here are everything I've been reading. Like I went into like I was just saying the IMDb, and you can see the
8.4.
critics 8.4 now. Okay, that's not
Yeah, out
bad.
of
But if
10.
you go into the fans reviews like us, if you look into those ones, you can see there's a lot of positive. I didn't hardly see any negative, honestly,
Yeah, I see
and
here
that's
from
just good.
Forbes. From Forbes, it says Zack Snyder's Justice League is the highest IMDb rated comic
Oh,
book movie since The Dark Knight.
oh, really?
That came
Wow.
out 2 days ago. I'll post that in the group right now.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I've been, like I said in the group the other day when it came out, I was just, because I'm in a bunch of in movie groups, a lot more nerd groups than movie groups,
Hmm.
and nerds are the worst because they're all super critical. And man,
Hmm.
it was surprising. It was mainly positive. There was a lot of people that even said, I was not going to give this movie a chance because I'm a Marvel boy, or because I don't like Zack Snyder's vision of DC, blah blah blah. And it's like I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, I wasn't expecting this. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's getting mostly love, and it was
well,
trending
that's
pretty
the
high.
negative reviews though I'm seeing. A lot of it is a lot of it. I've talked to a couple people yesterday where they were saying, they're saying what they don't like about it, and some of them didn't even watch it yet, and they're already dogging it. But
Hmm.
the people that did, they had the issue was they said, they started naming like what they did like from DC, and then a few of them are like, I just like Joker, uh, you know, uh. I liked Joker and the old cartoons, and I was like, whoa, so you don't even like the Tim Burton or the Nolans. I mean, Nolans was, those are pretty epic films, I thought, anyways.
Yeah.
It was a cool take on the serious, more realistic version of Batman. But a lot of people just say they'll, like, oh, I don't like Batman. I never did like Batman. And, he cries about his parents or whatever. Who cares? So a lot of these reviews, I started jumping on other sites and other people are like, Marvel all the way, DC sucks. And I don't know why it has to be, one or the other.
Exactly.
I watch them both,
Me
and yeah,
too.
Infinity War was my favorite, out of the quite a few of the last films just because it was serious and it was like it got my attention. Thanos was terrifying and he was,
Yeah,
and he was very you could relate to the guy though too, a bit. I mean, you see his side, of what he's doing, but it was serious. That whole ending was, my jaw was dropped when he killed it, all those superheroes.
I
And
thought.
like you said earlier, Marvel don't do that. Or, they're always happy go. They always win in the end, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
I
what you
did
got.
try to go like that with Age of Ultron, but I wasn't a big fan of that. And I felt the same. By the way, here, I mean, this is from 2 days ago, but these were the rankings at the time of the Forbes article. The Dark Knight had the highest with 9.0. Zack Snyder's had an 8.9, and then Avengers 8, Endgame, and Infinity War were both tied at 8.4.
Oh,
So just so you have like a perspective of other movies that are in the 8 range, it's the two biggest movies of the Marvel verse, Endgame and Infinity War. And I
mm-hmm.
think Snyder's kind of slipped down to 8.4 now. But yeah, definitely a lot of love for this movie. And yeah, I felt the same with that as you with I liked Infinity War a lot more than Endgame. And
Yeah.
and yeah, it doesn't have to be one or the other, guys. Growing up, I Marvel just never grabbed my attention. I think I read one X-Men comic, which was the one that the uh what was that movie that was really good? The Days Past.
Days of
Some
Past or Days of Future Past. I
Yeah, yeah, well,
think that's
weird
it.
title. But anyway, I read that one, which I thought was really cool, where Magneto at the end gets the president to kneel down before him and all that. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, I like the
Yeah.
X-Men, but in
Yeah.
Spider-Man, of course. So I'm like one of those guys, peripheral. There's characters
Well,
that I
that's
really like the Hulk and Spider-Man and the X-Men, but I've never picked up a Marvel comic book. And yet, yeah, I would go and watch those movies because they're
oh yeah.
fun. They're well made, so it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more of a DC dude since I was a kid. I actually would go and buy the comics. I still do. Actually, I
Mm-hmm.
gifted a comic to this little. I felt there's this little boy when I was coming back from a job. And it was in another city, so I took the Trinity story with me. I have the comic book, and
Uh,
I saw him with his mom. He's gonna take, like those little kids that look like they really take care of their mom, even though he's a
mm-hmm.
little dude. And so
Mm-hmm.
I tapped the mom on the shoulder and said, "Hey, does he like to read?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, I gave him the comic book, and he was so happy. It was so cute.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
but yeah, I still buy comic books. It helps me practice my Portuguese. So I read like the kind of the same comics I already read as a kid in Portuguese, like the Bane story. I bought like the whole big version of it and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'm much more tuned into DC, which is why I think I didn't mind the theatrical cut because I could fill in the blanks. Like I knew what he was going for, even though, I'm talking about Batman versus Superman. I kind of could
Mm-hmm.
fill in the blanks. But I could get how somebody that's not into DC that much would be totally lost, which is what the ultimate cut
Oh
helps
yeah.
those folks a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Um, but this movie doesn't leave. I mean, maybe you don't know what a mother box is. Maybe you're not sure what the anti-life equation is, and you're like a
Mm-hmm.
little bit lost. But he pretty much laid everything down. Where even as a casual fan of
Oh,
DC, you get into
definitely.
this movie.
Definitely. Even when it first started, when they started talking about that, my girlfriend and I were both kind of, I was kind of taken back, like, oh crap, should I have watched the other one or should I have watched Batman and Superman again? Did I miss something? But then they get to that, he slowly gets there. He's building his story. And, when you get to the boxes, they tell you what's going on and they inform you. And I thought he did a great job explaining all that. Um,
Hmm.
the
Yeah, and without
character,
it feeling like exposition, it didn't really
yeah,
feel like, oh God, here's somebody
yeah,
talking for 5 minutes to explain the plot to us.
right.
I thought it was well done in that sense. So,
Hmm.
5 stars for me. Like this whole rant started with me just saying, yeah, I rank it up there with probably one of top 10 superhero movies. The movie that I had been wanting to see, and I know Justin and I talk a lot about this. Oh, we got somebody on the chat here. I didn't notice. He's asking, talk about the aspect ratio. Wait, is this Paul? This has to be
Is that
Paul.
Paul? It's got to be Paul.
Chemical
Hello,
32.
Paul.
Hey, Paul, if you're still there, I'm sorry I didn't notice that you were that
It's
you had
funny.
left a
I love
comment.
it.
Um, man, it
Oh
didn't
man.
bother me. I know it bothered some people, but it didn't bother
It
me at
didn't
all.
bother me. I didn't mind it at all. I knew about it though. I mean, I knew about it before it even, before I started watching it. I mean, I
Yeah,
think he came out a few weeks ago explaining why
but
he
for
did
me,
it.
it's like watching a movie with subtitles. Like in the beginning, yeah, you notice that you're reading. You're like, oh god
Right.
damn, I gotta read a fucking movie. But
Right.
after like 5 minutes, like something clicks in your brain where you don't even realize that you're reading. It just like all kind of gels into one thing.
Right. Right.
And that's how it was. And it's like watching those old Hollywood classics too, man. It's just, like uh, filmed in Panavision, and you got the two lines, but they're on top.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird at the beginning, like, oh my God, I wish those two black things would just disappear, the
Mm-hmm.
black lines, and or black bars, I guess. And instead, it's just okay. The black bars are on the side, but after like
Yeah.
5 minutes, you don't even notice that they're
Well,
there. It's
that's
just
like, yeah, or any other way, it'd have been up on the top and the bottom, though. I mean, yeah, it's a little more on the side, but not, nothing too drastic. I mean, then again, we watch on a 65-inch TV, so I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know. I don't know if Paul, what size TV do you have?
I don't know if he's still on, but if he's still on, yes, he can
He
tell
probably
us.
just swung through there and said the black bar thing or the ratio because that was his big concern right from the get go. And I
Oh,
did keep,
he
I
was
kept
on like
laughing
on
at his
108.
comments. Yeah,
He
and
left
then
his
the
comment like 20 minutes ago. I'm gonna leave the broadcast studio page open so I can see if anybody comments. But yes, that was funny,
I,
man.
I
Paul's
mean, it
too.
was just awesome in the beginning. He's like, "What the heck's up with this, these bars? This ratio? What is
I
going
know.
on?"
And then at one point, you're like, you know what? I'm done. This is like the most
Well, yeah,
ridiculous
because I was just
argument.
getting ready to watch it for my first time, and I'm reading his like complaint right from the get go, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm gonna go enjoy this movie or whatever. I'm
That was
done
funny,
trying to
bro.
explain to you
But
it's
you
supposed
gotta
to be
understand,
shot.
Paul. Paul's English, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's out in England, and they have that
Oh,
very very wry sense of humor, which took me a
yeah,
while to get into because
yeah,
for whatever reason, um, I don't know. In the U.S., I never met a lot of English folks. Let me just make sure here. I'm gonna let me see. Is Paul really English or not? I'm not sure. I don't want to be saying he is and he isn't. I can't tell from his Facebook page, but man, English humor, you gotta get
yeah,
into it. And for whatever reason, I've met a lot more British folks down here in Brazil. There's a lot of British expats, and at the beginning you do feel like they're being assholes and you're like this motherfucker, like you want to smack them because they say so much shit, but then you get it's just like their humor is
yeah,
like so much drier and
yeah,
fuck you-ish than American humor.
yeah.
And then you realize if one of them is like fucking with you, that's like a sign that they like you. It's
Yep, yep,
like
yep. Oh, he had me cracking up though. I was just laughing at him because I was like, "Holy crap, dude!" Because he just kept asking again, like, "Well, what the hell? Like, what do you guys think? This sucks." And I'm like, "Man," he said it was. What did he shoot it in IMAX? Was it supposed to be IMAX format? Is that what
which
this was
which
supposed to
makes me
be?
wonder if at some point in the future, wouldn't it be awesome, Justin, if we could see this on a big screen? Oh my goodness. I mean,
I'm telling you, I think it will happen. I think it will
I think
happen.
so too. I think so too. I
I
think
think once theaters
definitely,
get going again and
yes.
down the road, people are going to want to see it in the theater. I mean,
Yeah. It'll be like special event type
yeah.
stuff, but
I
yeah,
mean,
I'll be
hell, they
there.
could even throw an intermission in there, just throw an
Oh,
intermission, like
definitely, definitely. And I
bring
think
it back to the old days.
I saw an interview bringing Grace. up again from beyond the trailer. She had an interview with Snyder like about a week before it premiered, and he asked her, like, or he asked her, she asked him about the like viewing guide. It was like a viewing guide, and
Hmm.
he did mention, he's like, if you really want to take a break, take it between chapter 4 and 5, which is like when they decide, hey, we got to bring Superman back.
Yeah.
So, because that he said that that's where the natural intermission would have been if it was a theatrical release. So
Okay.
that intermission was definitely in his mind when
Right.
he put it together, and that was the spot right there. Although she kept saying, I dare anybody to stop after chapter 4. So she's
Right.
like,
Right.
that was my
You're not
intention, was
stopping.
to stop at chapter 4,
Right.
but that's right when things get real hot. And I agree, it's kind of hard to stop after each chapter. And like you
Right.
said at the beginning, such a genius move. I mean, it's such a real basic thing, but it's so
Hmm.
genius to have those chapters in, because it really does feel like you're binging your favorite show and you just want to
Yep.
get to the next, in the next, in the next, and see
Yep.
what it all builds up to. And well, guys, if you haven't watched the Snyder cut, at least give it a shot. If you
Yeah, give
don't,
it a
if you still
shot. I
don't
mean,
like
what
it,
what's it gonna hurt? What is it? What is HBO? I believe it's 14.99 a month or whatnot, but shoot, that's a theater price. If you go to a theater and get some popcorn or something to snack
exactly.
on, you get a pop or something, or you got a couple of you going, I mean, it's a price for a whole month of free Superman, and there's Tom and Jerry, I guess, on right now. I haven't sat down and watched that one yet, but uh, HBO Max has a great library. I mean, in the future here, they're going to be a big competitor, I bet, to Netflix,
I
Disney.
agree. And this
Um,
is this is the movie that I think finally put them on the consciousness map,
oh
because
yeah,
it was definitely
definitely.
trending on Twitter. And because it didn't really have that. I mean, Lovecraft Country was cool this year, but it wasn't like Game of Thrones numbers. It averaged about a
Right.
million, 2 million viewers. It got a lot of
Hmm.
buzz. Watchmen before that too, it averaged about a million, 2 million, but still kind of niche. Like they didn't
Hmm.
have that hit like Disney. Disney came out of the box with The Mandalorian. Like everybody was talking about The
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Well, that's a
Um,
good point right there, real quick. You're talking about the Mandalorian. Did you hear about Snyder was saying that's how they got this going was when the Mandalorian was coming out and came out, people were talking about it, and they had all, I don't know how they rate it, but like how many people are talking about something at once, like trending. At that time, they mentioned the Snyder cut and people were talking about it. And he went to the studio and showed them. He said, I want to show you like how popular this really is. Like this isn't just something, some fans are crying and they want. There's a mass amount of people wanting this Snyder cut. And he had to show them that it was above the Mandalorian like at that time. So that's what really got them to say, okay, we'll give you $70 million, finish it and give it to them. And we'll
oh,
put
I
it on
didn't
Max
know.
streaming.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm reading here from Game Rant. Snyder Cut trends after fans finally watch Zack Snyder's Justice League on Twitter. Hashtag Snyder Cut. And let me see, where did it rank? With mostly positive reviews, the film is being referred to by many fans as an improvement. But it doesn't really tell you. It just says that it's trending, but I don't know what place it was.
Well, when
But
this
I
was
know,
trending, it was like, yeah, what? When did Mandalorian come out? 2 years ago? It
yeah,
must have been
two
two
years
years ago.
ago. Yeah.
That's when the Kickstarter thing really started going. I mean, it was back then when he was like talking about the Snyder cut or saying it is out there. Like there is, I do have a Snyder cut, but there's no special effects or anything. And that's what HBO initially wanted to do. They look
Oh,
so
I know.
down.
I
They
remember.
look so down on this movie that they told him, "We'll just release it on HBO Max and just show them what you were gonna make." And he was like, "No way in hell, I'm gonna freaking show them this movie with no special effects."
Mm,
He was like, "I tell you what, don't even pay me. Don't pay me anything for this time. Like my wife and I, we don't want any money. And then they had like uh, a fundraiser thing going on for suicide too for this. So
Hmm.
for his daughter, so under
By
his
the way,
daughter's
did that
name or something.
appear in the? Because I watched it um with Portuguese subtitles. It was in English, but with Portuguese subtitles. And then in the middle, it instead of a subtitle, it gave me like a number to a suicide helpline. Did it have that in the U.S. version?
No, not nope.
Oh,
It didn't
okay.
come
That was
across to
kind of
us.
cool that they put that
Yeah.
in the version that I got. Like it was all like
Hmm.
subtitled, and then it was a site like a Brazilian suicide helpline, which
Well,
I thought was cool.
yeah, this whole story is like, it's a perfect Hollywood story. It's about a guy that went through a really bad time. The fans didn't embrace his Batman and Superman, and the studio, they had no faith in him. So they went and hired Whedon after his daughter died to rewrite a lot of his film. And, Snyder was, he wasn't having it. He's like, I don't have any energy, or I can't give you anything to fight for this. So he said, you know what? I'm walking away. He didn't get fired. A lot of people think he got fired. He didn't get fired. He
Mhm.
walked away from the movie, and he didn't want to fight over the script. So he just walked away on it because he said he had to be there for his family. Like they needed to be together. It was more important, which it is. And, 4 years later, you got the fans crying for, this version. And then it comes out, after all that, this fundraiser and everything. And, next thing you know, this is the most talked about movie going on right now. And to me, when I watched it, it was the first time it felt like I actually watched a blockbuster the past year. I mean, this
Yeah,
is the first
yeah,
time where I was actually
exactly,
feeling like that watching it. I was like, oh my God, this got my heart racing. I'm into this. This is fun. It's
exactly.
exciting.
Hmm.
It's not corny. you know, um, there's no laughs where I'm rolling my eyes half the time.
Yeah,
But
but yet it managed to have levity in a
hmm
way, which I think
hmm
that's what made this for me my favorite of the Snyderverse movies. It's that
absolutely, yeah.
although he kept a dark tone, it had heart, and I think that's what was
Uh,
missing from BVS.
yes, yep,
Where's the heart of that movie? It's just very depressing.
yep,
And then
depressing.
Man of Steel, it's got heartfelt moments, but it's just kind of like depressing too. It's like, okay, like
Yeah,
Superman just is lonely. He feels like an alien. He is an alien, but he feels like one on
yep.
Earth. His dad's
People are
dead.
against him because he fought.
Everybody's
Oh
against.
no, that's in
Yeah,
Batman Superman though, where everyone's against him.
every
Uh,
like he finally does meet people from his planet, but they want to kill him.
yeah, yeah.
It's like god damn, and it ends with him having to do what he really doesn't want to do, which is kill
hmm
General Zod, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's a heavy fucking movie. By the way, this is nice here at the end of the movie. All the in this the filmmakers would like to thank all the fans that made the film possible, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and
Yeah.
all that stuff, so this was really for the fans, and which begs the question, if you're not a fan of Justice League at all, going back to maybe Pete and stuff, would you dig the movie? I would say yes,
Who?
because it's
Pete?
so much
Peter?
different
Oh
than.
no.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you're total like you just don't like DC characters at all, which is understandable. I can respect that. I know people that
Yeah.
don't
Oh
like
yeah.
Marvel characters at all,
Oh yeah.
and
Definitely. Yeah.
you're just not gonna dig this. You don't want to watch 4 hours of something that you don't
Right.
like.
But I will
Uh,
say, like you said, this one has heart. It's fun. It's not the same. I mean, it's got the tone of the first two, but this one actually, I don't know. It's like you said, there's more heart, so you're getting into these characters more in this one. You're behind everyone. So when it finally comes to that, the action, you're invested. You're fully invested with these characters. They're more
exactly.
humanized. Uh, get to see them work as
It
an
gives them a
actual team.
backstory.
Yeah, and
It
the
gives him a
backstory is what it
backstory
is.
that
Yeah.
that it actually let's kind of we'll slide into no pun intended, with my slides here. But we'll slide into a little bit of the differences between Whedon and Zack's version of or Snyder's version of this movie. And guys, now we'll get into minor spoilers. You know, we're not going to go mega spoilers, but in the last frame there on the screen, you had seen Cyborg and the Flash, and I think those were two of the major improvements of the movie because of what we were just
Absolutely.
saying. We got backstory. We already got
Hmm.
Superman's backstory. This is definitely not a Superman movie. He doesn't even show
No,
up till almost the end. We
the
already
last
kind of
hour.
get no, we get Batman already. I mean, we
Hmm.
one because Batman is just part of the zeitgeist. We know his backstory from like
Hmm.
80 years of fucking Batman. So we don't need another Batman story. And so it's not
No.
he does have I mean, he does have a powerful motive, which is like he feels really guilty about what he did to Superman,
Yep.
and to put him in that situation, but it's not the main showcase of the movie. Wonder
Mm-mm.
Woman, as much as I love her in the movie, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Again, we got Wonder Woman, the first one, 1984, which I wasn't a big fan of. So we already got
Mm-mm.
her story. So what do
Yep.
we need? What does this movie need? It needs to give us the new characters. It's the Justice League. So,
Yeah.
and it's the Flash and Cyborg because we already got the Aquaman movie, and it probably Zach knew that that was coming.
Yep.
Um, while he was making this, so he didn't really focus on Aquaman that much in this movie. He gave us a little bit of
Right.
backstory. So he
Hmm.
focused on those two characters, and they were so cool. I have, one. I mean, I've always liked the Flash, even from the time I was a kid. So it was cool to see him being portrayed way better in this film than he was in the first movie, where he was just kind of like the silly sidekick. Like
Yeah, he was a silly sidekick jokester. It had to, then they were horrible jokes.
really bad
uh,
jokes.
I mean, the poor guy. I mean, I didn't like his character, which a lot of people didn't like his character. Cyborg. I mean, he was even. Did he even really have a story in the other one? I mean, he was another sidekick. It was just he was Brody. He was always like angry at his father. You kind of knew, but that was it. And then, eh, yeah, like you said, this one get to learn Cyborg. He was the heart of the movie. I mean, he was really the heart of the movie.
He was, and I had heard that those comments from a few critics saying he's the heart of the movie. And I'm
He
like, no
is.
way! Like, how can that be?
I know,
Because he
right?
wasn't that interesting of a character. I'm not a big fan of Cyborg, even from the Titans and the
Oh, I'm
cartoon
not
version.
either. Yeah,
And I
no.
was like, how can he, because for me, he feels like a Iron Man knockoff,
Yeah.
so, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not like huge on Cyborg,
Hmm.
but they did, they managed it. He was the most interesting character for me. Like, I felt him, and he felt even more Batman-ish than Batman. Like he was really brooding. Batman
Oh,
was a
yeah.
little light. He was like, okay, maybe my
Hmm.
brooding isn't exactly the best uh, technique to get these people together. Even there's a line
Right.
where Alfred says that, maybe the guy that spends all his day brooding in the Batcave isn't the best to put together a
Yeah.
team of heroes. So you
Hmm.
get that he's a little like lighter in this movie, but not Whedon light where he's cracking jokes. I don't need Batman cracking jokes either.
Hmm.
And Cyborg becomes that character that Batman usually is. By the way, we got a
Hmm.
viewer in there. If you leave any comments, positive, negative, what you think of the movie, well, we're gonna be on for a while, guys. I can so leave some comments. Yeah, I just noticed we're like it's a 4 hour movie, so this might be take a little while to get through. But the Cyborg character played that role that usually is reserved for Batman to be the guy that's just pissed and like I don't want to do this and this, that, and the
Yeah.
third, and he played it perfectly.
Oh,
They
yeah.
gave us the drama with the father. they showed us his pain, his hurt, and he became the he became the heart of the movie, like you had said. And I didn't think that was possible because of how badly written he was, and it makes you understand a little bit more why Ray, and I always forget his last name, is Ray Fisher, was pissed
Yeah.
with Whedon, and how he got cut out of the movie, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He became a tool in the first movie. It's just, oh,
Yeah,
we
and
got this cool gadget, which is a
mm-hmm.
guy who can go into all the computers and stuff. It just he became another bat gadget in a way, and Flash just
Yeah.
became the funny sidekick. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you really ruined one of my favorite characters, which is the Flash, and two, why even have Cyborg in there? Like, I wasn't a big fan of him to begin with, and like, why even have him in there if he's
Yeah.
just like
He
a
was my
bat
least
gadget?
favorite. No, he wasn't my least favorite character. My least favorite was Flash, and then Cyborg. Oh no, I could have. I don't know, man. It's been 4 years where I fully watched the whole thing, but I didn't like either of them. Honestly, and this one, I felt for Flash. He did feel like a kid still, which he is. He's still new. I think he's just becoming Flash, or it's very new to him because I know Bruce Wayne talked to him about his uniform, and but Cyborg pulled me in. I understood. You find out about his mother and his father and all that, and then you go with this story with him, and all the way to the end, and you notice like certain members, they have key points. They really have. They all have a piece of the puzzle in this one. They all matter, and hell, I even think Wonder Woman was a lot better in this one. They actually made her like a warrior again. Like she was this kick-ass
Yes,
Wonder Woman, and that's what '84 was missing.
I
They got
know.
into her feelings so much in '84, and yeah, it lost it. And then again, Zack Snyder helped produce, I believe, the first one. He was involved with that first one a little bit, and I think I've
Yes, and some folks are kind of saying he should get back and either
take.
direct or produce the third Wonder Woman movie. And yeah, I agree with you. They kind of I like how I'm sharing this link to our live in a few groups here, guys. So excuse me for a
Oh,
second. But the Wonder Woman becoming a warrior, definitely. That's a big change, and I
and she
loved
had
it.
power in this one. Yeah.
She had power.
Like
Yeah. No, I
almost
mean,
Superman power.
dude, she was the most badass of the team. Like, she took no prisoners, and
Mm,
especially you get that right from the beginning with that heist scene, or it wasn't a heist scene, the terrorist scene,
yeah.
where in the
Yeah.
lead-in cut it was okay, like it wasn't bad, but it was so short. I was like, it didn't do
Hmm.
anything. Like it left no impact, on me. Like that, like the scene where she's in the first Wonder Woman movie where she's going across no man's land.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
impactful. You remember
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
this
This
movie,
scene, you actually see the damage she did too. Like when she's hitting the
yes,
guys and they're flying into the walls and they're crushed, or the blood splatter. By the way, this is a rated R movie, so there's blood splatter. I think you've said before, real quick, in the blood splatter though, it's more like a comic book blood though. It's not so gory where it's gross or anything, but yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
see Wonder Woman. She kicks ass. She's there to kick ass and help the weak out. And man, I was rooting for her. I really was. I really believed she'd be a good fight with Superman. But
well, she gave him
for the most part.
a little bit of fight, but you
Yeah,
can't f with Superman.
well, no, I
Um,
didn't really want to get into that yet, but yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, Superman is he's top dog out of the Justice League, but
yes. Um,
uh,
and one thing that was noticeable and with her character especially is even in that scene, Snyder was able to set up her strength so much better by doing something so simple, which is not slow mowing, and which is hard for Snyder because he loves his slow motion. But
Yeah, he
when she
does.
breaks into that room, there's
Yeah.
no moment of respite for the bad guys. She's like super fast, blah, 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 and like that's how the fight would look. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
were going up against Wonder Woman, you wouldn't see her. She was just like bah, 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 bah,
Oh, yeah.
whereas Whedon's cut, he slow motioned it, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. It kind of takes away from the impact of
Well,
how powerful she is and how
well, he
fast.
yeah, but he slow motioned it, but then he cut out all the impact. Like when she'd hit him, you just kind of see her like throw an arm at him, and they might pop a little bit, like get off the ground, but that's it. In the Snyder one, like you said, you see her going right through the wall, hits a guy, and like I was saying, flies into the wall, and the wall crushes a little bit, cracks, and there's blood splatter. Or you know, I like how Snyder makes it where us humans fighting, if we were to fight them, we have no chance. Like, I mean, he does make a point to show if the humans fight the superheroes at all, they get destroyed. Their heads are splatted to the wall, or,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it's going to be. We have no chance against Wonder Woman. Like, you're
Mhm.
saying she would be fast. And, I don't know. The direction is just, I think Snyder's better at action or more realistic action a little bit, or as realistic as you can get with a superhero movie.
Well,
But
yeah, you can't fault him with that. I mean, the scenes where Superman is fighting Zod in Smallville, I mean, my mouth was just agape watching that the first time. I was like, oh my
yeah,
God,
yeah,
like that's the Superman action scene I've been waiting pretty much my
yeah.
whole life to watch,
Mhm.
because, I'm 39. So I
Wow.
remember watching, all I had for a very long time was Donner's Superman, which I love, by the way. I mean, it's the blueprint for all superhero movies
Yep.
since.
Mhm.
Uh, but, they had the limitations of the time as far as how much Superman could do. So
Yeah.
all I had was my imagination filling in the blanks, reading the comics or the cartoons, and
Mhm.
then Snyder comes out with this movie. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's what Superman would really fucking do. And that's how
Mhm.
fast he would do it, and that's how strong. So incredible. So he's got an eye for
Mhm.
that, and
Oh yeah.
I like
He's
Warrior. I need Warrior Wonder Woman, dude. I mean, I get what Patty was going for with 1984. It wasn't a horrible movie, but it just didn't work for me.
right.
And it's like, okay, yes, we also have the Wonder Woman that's a throwback to Linda Carter and the love, and it's all
Yeah.
about this. But she's a fucking warrior. She's like Xena,
Mhm.
warrior princess, but like on
Yeah.
speed. And it's
Yeah.
like, yes, I
Yeah.
need Wonder Woman to just be ferocious and kick butt, which I love about the New 52. They've done that, with the comics. And even before we came
Mhm.
on, I was watching Justice League Dark Apocalypse. If you haven't seen it, I don't know how I missed
Oh, I
this one.
haven't.
I watch all
I
of them.
own it. I own it, and I have not watched it yet. I just
Dude,
picked it up,
watch
like I
this
think a
fucking
week or
movie.
two ago.
This should be an
Yeah, I
R-rated
will.
cartoon. Like,
It is an
yo,
R-rated cartoon.
it is. Okay, good,
Yeah,
because
it
it's
is.
fucking bloody. We were talking about
Yeah,
blood. Wonder Woman's
yeah.
arm gets ripped off. It
What?
gets ripped. Yo, you gotta watch this fucking movie. I don't know how
I
I
will be
skipped it.
watching it tomorrow. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know how I skipped it. But
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
it starts out. I
She got
don't
me.
want to give everything away, but it starts out with Superman really like gung ho, like we need to attack Darkseid, and they go, but they step into a trap and they get slaughtered, and you see the slaughter, and you see superheroes getting torn in half.
Oh
Wonder
my.
Woman's arm gets chopped off, and she's walking around with like one arm. It's like
Oh
really.
my.
What?
Oh my
I,
gosh.
After we're done this live, I'm watching the rest of this movie. I was like, what? It's insane. Um, so, which answers a question that Craig had asked. It's like, because he was wondering, like, why me and Justin are always so gung ho about like this is the movie we've been like the version we've been waiting for, the versions we've been waiting for, and he's like, yeah, but DC always seem like way more kid friendly or lighter than Marvel. I was like, no, dude, it
No
isn't.
way.
It
No.
really is.
He had
It
me so
really.
dumbfounded when he said that. I was like, "What?" I was like, "I've been reading comics like you were saying earlier. I still read comics to this day, and I started. I think I was probably 8 or 9,
Yeah.
and but I was reading DC. Like I jump in. I liked Wolverine and the X-Men, and that's about my limit back with Marvel. Like I really loved Wolverine. I loved him, but then I loved Batman. Superman I liked, especially the Death of Superman, that series I still own. Those are amazing. Him fighting
Well, yeah,
Doomsday and
that's
all that.
classic. That's
That's
classic.
that's amazing. But I've always thought like DC was darker. They had the bad guys were more psychotic. You got the Joker. I mean,
You
how crazy
got
is
Ghost
the Joker?
Rider.
Ghost Rider, yeah. I mean, yeah, Marvel's got Punisher, but I don't know, he's this whole other world here. But DC's mainly, they've always had the darker stories. I always thought, anyways. I
I
mean,
thought so. I think so too. And
yeah.
even if you go into Superman, obviously he's the beacon of hope in
Hmm.
the whole DC universe. But even his stories, and I think that's where folks don't get Superman. And I'm a huge Superman fan because of what I'm about to say, is that he is, of course, the Boy Scout, but he's not really the Boy Scout. He's this alien on Earth who decides
Hmm.
that he's going to try to do good all the time. But when a good writer gets a hold of that, what is he able to do with it? Is put that conflict in Superman's mind that
Yep.
can't always just do good. The world is
Yep.
really fucked up. So
Yep.
we have
Yep.
this very complex character in DC who's like, yeah, I need to resolve this in a way that doesn't hurt people, that doesn't end in somebody's death,
Hmm.
but you can't always do that. So that's the conflict that Superman is going through in the good stories, you know?
Yep.
And the New 52, which kind of rebooted DC because DC was kind of floundering for a while, they've managed to get this new version of Superman where he's a little bit kind of has some rough edges. He's like he's been through shit and he's willing
Mm.
to be gung ho before maybe earlier than he would have like in the 70s or before or even throughout the 80s. So Superman can be an extremely complex and interesting character. He's obviously never going to be on the level of Batman as far as darkness or the Punisher or anything like that.
Right.
But he can go way darker than even Captain America. I think for me, Captain America is like that, where it's gets kind of
Oh,
boring. Like
definitely.
a hundred
Definitely.
percent, no matter what, we need to
Yeah.
stick together. But Superman's not against just smacking the shit out of Batman if he's got to. If like he feels
Right.
like, nah, this is not the way that things should go. So he's a complex character. He wouldn't have survived as long as he has in the comic lexicon if he wasn't a character that's extremely malleable, that can be written in many, many different ways. Zach took it to the next level, but inspired a lot. I think, obviously, you can see by the uniform the way he doesn't have the underwear anymore. That was New Fifty
Right.
Two that gave him that new uniform, which I didn't like at first, but now I kind of dig.
I
I
do
was
dig it. I dig that they got rid of the underwear stuff and
Yeah,
on the
I didn't like
superheroes.
it at
Yeah.
first. I was like, no, that underwear is so iconic. But then I was like, why is he wearing underwear
I
over his?
remember we were watching Batman and Superman. My friend Matt Sukent, we both loved it in the theater, and we were at his house and we were watching it when it came out. We were all excited, when the Ultimate Cut came out. First time watching it, we were just freaking out. And right when it first showed Superman, he was like, "Man, it's awesome to see Superman not wearing his underwear outside of his uniform." And I was like, "Holy crap! I never even realized it. I never really realized it until then. I just wasn't. I guess I just got into or Snyder's world that I didn't notice that his underwear was missing, And
Yeah,
I once I figured that out, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, well, actually, I do dig that though. This Superman's, like he said, he's conflicted. He's more feels like more human in a way, even though he's an alien, but
yeah,
he's going through his shit, and it's a different version, which I see people complaining about these characters or going this different direction. But I think a lot of people remember Superman. Another person they was talking about, they were upset because Justice League wasn't the cartoons they used to watch. And I was like, did you not know this was a Snyder film, though? I mean, Snyder's not really full blown cartoon type of guy, I mean, he likes his mature content in his
yeah. And
comic
that's
films.
I'll comment on that in a second because you brought up something interesting. But before we do, just want to give a shout out to a few people in the Talking Films group. One is Tyler William Geisler. He said, I just finished this, currently listening to the credits. This movie was immaculate. So many happy tears. Alleluia was a perfect
Nice.
choice to play. Oh, Alleluia was a perfect choice to play during the credits. Okay. Uh, yeah, I didn't really like that version of Hallelujah. That's the only during the credits, but okay. And then my buddy here in São Paulo, originally from the Washington D.C. area, Jeffrey, he said just finished watching 4.5 stars, so he enjoyed watching it too. So
Nice.
I give these two guys a shout out. Um, but yeah, that's for me. That's a non-valid complaint. There are valid complaints, and then there are non-valid. I put that in the non-valid category. Why? Because comic book heroes have been written and rewritten and reimagined since the beginning of their
Yeah.
tenure as comic books. And when I go and see the Tim Burton Batman, I need to respect it, or not respect it, but judge it on on the Tim Burton level. I mean, that's what Tim Burton wanted to do with the character. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of sucks that Batman brought that bitch to the Batcave, but whatever. That's the Tim Burton universe
Yep.
of Batman, and Batman kills in that movie. And Batman
Yep.
Returns. And then when I go and watch Nolan's version, I'm expecting to see that in it, and it's not as fantastical as Burton's vision, inspired by it, obviously, because Burton inspired a whole bunch of
Oh yeah.
filmmakers with those movies. But yeah, I'm seeing that Batman, and I can still love it. And
Yep.
when I'm watching the old 60s show, I love that just as much. And it's
Oh
the
yeah.
Batman that's riffing off of the 1950s, Golden Age Batman, when he got a little bit silly because of the censors,
Mm-hmm.
they were afraid that comic books were corrupting kids' minds. So all of a sudden now Batman had to go fight aliens with Superman, and it got all silly and stuff. Because if you get into the original stuff, like before that, both Superman and Batman were pretty hardcore, and they killed motherfuckers. Superman would throw cars off the side of the road,
Mm-hmm.
and we really got to see Clark Kent as a detective, not on the level of Bruce Wayne, but yeah, they really went hardcore on that level of like, he wasn't just a mild mannered reporter. He had this strong chin too, and he would go and try to find out what they fought a lot of mobsters at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a serious take on Clark Kent, which is interesting. Which I think was nice that Zack Snyder did that in the Ultimate Cut. It showed Clark Kent not being
Yeah.
afraid to go to Gotham, doing reporting work, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. That's a
Mm-hmm.
throwback to original 1940s, 1930s Superman. So people that say that, I don't think. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're not DC fans, which kind of sucks to say that. It sounds like I'm being like DC snobbish, but in a way, yeah. Like I don't think you have read any of the comic books and understand that these characters have had many iterations, from very
Mm-hmm.
light to even silly to
Mm-hmm.
extremely intense and
Mm-hmm.
depressing. Wonder Woman's gone through a whole lot of changes. she started out very a lot into. Have you seen the documentary about the guy who wrote Wonder Woman? He was into
I
S and
have
M.
not.
You know, dude, you got to
Oh,
watch this. I'll send you the fucking movie later. Uh,
okay.
Real interesting because he was the guy who created Wonder Woman. He was in a threesome relationship. He was polyamorous. He met. He was a college professor that was a psychology professor, and he was into S&M. And he fell in love with one of
Wow.
his students, and then he asked his wife if he could bring this student into their relationship. So they had like a three-way relationship. And Wonder Woman, if not watch, but if you read the early comics, there was a lot of rope play and like tying people up. So the lasso of truth, and actually the guy that created her, he invented the lie detector test. So the lasso of truth came from that.
Wow.
And just this idea of these women just living together, and Wonder Woman would always get tied up and stuff, and she liked to tie people up, and they would have uh, panels in the original comics where the games that they like to play in the Mascara was tying each other, you know. So there's this whole, it's bizarre. Like when you get into
Wow.
it, you're like, what's going on? And but eventually the same thing happened to Wonder Woman. The censors got into it, and Wonder Woman became a housewife in like the 1950s. She lost her powers, etc., etc. It took to the feminist movement of the 1970s to bring Wonder Woman back to the warrior princess that we all know and love. So all these characters, what makes them so cool is that there could be so many different versions of them. We don't have to
Right.
have just one version of Superman, one version of Wonder Woman, one version of Batman, and the whole the cast of characters. In Snyder's
Hmm.
version is this. So
That's what I
you
don't understand the complaint on that. Like you just said, we have all these different versions, but which a lot of people probably don't know or realize, way back. But like you just said with Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan, everyone's got their own take on all these superheroes,
and
and
we're getting
Snyder
another
had
one,
it.
right? We're getting
Yeah.
another one, Robert Patterson, coming soon.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And that looks like what the trailer looked like. I was getting ready for another seven or something. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be hardcore detective, I believe, Batman, a younger Batman, but he's more I think he's what, like 2 years in, or no, I think he's his first year in. I think it's his
Yeah,
first
I think
year.
it's inspired by Year One, which is a great
Yep.
comic.
Yes, it
Um,
is. But
So yeah, so they did
yeah.
the younger Batman, and I think what shocked people the most is just Superman, you know, because and even I was watching Fat Man Beyond before this, and Mark Bernard made this comment. Where it was like, well, I don't know, if you have a Superman movie that you can't take your kids to, I think you did something wrong, which I disagree with. I mean, as much as I love
Hmm.
Mark, I think he missed the mark with that because Superman has been in some adult stories. I mean, even the alternate universe stories. If you get Immortal, you know, the Gods Among Us
Hmm.
storyline, or if you get Red Sun, which is great. Have you read Red Sun or watched the
No.
movie?
No, I
Oh, that's
haven't.
another one, dude. That's another one you got. It's like an alternate universe Superman, but it's like, what if Superman had landed in Soviet Russia instead of America, and he became Stalin's lapdog? You know, what
Wow.
Superman
Okay.
would we get? It's a great story,
I will
but
be watching cartoons tomorrow.
yeah, no,
I
watch Red
will.
Sun. Red
I
Sun
will.
is really good.
That and
Um,
Apocalypse, right?
in the
Justice League
apocalypse,
Apo.
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So you there's so much. So I think that's where folks were a little upset because he came out of the gate with Man of Steel and giving a
Hmm.
very adult version, but it's just like us that read the comics, we're already used to having alternate versions and having a
Hmm.
version of Superman that wasn't Boy Scout Christopher Reeve. For the
Hmm.
general public, that's all they had. They had that's it, really, for the movies. We had Christopher Reeve. I mean, you had the George Reeves back in the 50s, but that was more or less the same character. And then when they tried to
Hmm.
reboot it with Superman Returns, it was such a hardcore attempt at recapturing the magic from the Donner movies that that's it.
Hmm.
That's the only version of Superman that the general public knows. So I
Hmm.
think that's where folks got fucked up. Whereas Batman, the general public does know that, okay, there's the 60 shows, there's Tim Burton, there's Nolan, there's the
Hmm.
Joe Schumacher Gay Fest, which I've come to appreciate those movies more and more as the
Oh,
years
they're still
pass,
fun. They're still fun. They're
or
fun.
just their campiness.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
campy,
they're
but
campy and
they're
they're
fun.
mega gay. It's like the
Oh
gayness
yeah.
of it. Because I didn't know
Oh
Joe
yeah.
Schumacher was gay until after he died. And then I
Uh
found out
huh.
that he had sex with like 20,000 dudes, according to him. And I'm like,
Whoa.
yo, this dude is like, he's a hero. you know? So I've come to appreciate the gayness and campiness of George Clooney and all the butt
I know he
shots and
gave
the nipple
butt
shots.
shots, the nipples on the suit. Oh yeah, it's like he he let it fly, especially in Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
But
the second one, because I think Tim Burton was still producer in the third one, the
yeah, he
Batman
was.
Forever or whatever it was.
Yep.
But then in
Yep.
the last one, he was just like, I'm going all in. And
Yeah.
I've come to appreciate those a little bit more as the years
Yeah.
pass. So I think the general public they're more used to Batman having many iterations. Because even Wonder
Hmm.
Woman, it's like, we really only had the Linda Carter show, and then
Yep.
finally we got Gal Gadot. So
Hmm.
they're used to Wonder Woman being and they made a joke about that in the Snyder cut. Did you when they're trying to come up with the plan to beat Steppenwolf, and how do we do it? And Flash is like, with the power of love, And I thought that was a
Yeah.
funny kind of meta joke. Um,
Yeah.
and then Cyborg's like, no, what are we really gonna do? And it's like, I think I've heard some fans say they were kind of not upset, but like, oh my god, like Wonder Woman, like she's killing people. She's like no
Mm.
fucks given. She, spoiler, beheads the main villain at the end, like
Yeah.
without,
I
you
love that
know.
finisher. That finisher was awesome.
Yes, which by the way, I
uh
think we can kind of slip into a little bit heavy
yeah, I think
spoilers,
we already
guys.
been we're 2 hours in now, aren't we?
Yes, so guys, from now moving ahead here,
The handcuffs
definitely
are off.
some heavy spoilers
Yep.
coming with the Snyder cut. I keep mixing Snyder verse Snyder cut. And yeah, she's hardcore warrior, gives no fucks. Because when Batman was beating the shit out of Steppenwolf, I almost thought one of them, Wonder Woman especially, would say, "Yo, stop! Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, this is not Superman." But they were like, "Yeah, like hit
Oh,
harder."
it was awesome. He was just beating, yeah, he was pummeling them into the ground there, just beating the hell out of them. And it was,
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
it. Snyder made this for adults. It's not a kid
yeah,
movie. I mean, you can take your kids to it if they're like 15, 16. I think they could deal
oh
with it
yeah,
because, like Justin and I said, yeah, there's some blood, but it's like CGI splattered blood. It's not like watching
yeah,
it slowly drip from somebody's face. Not like this Dark Side movie. Oh my god. Uh,
yeah.
you know, it's comic book. Boom. You see the
It's comic book.
splatter.
It's adult. I mean, I think they say the F word 3 times in this one.
Yes, yeah. There's a
Uh,
there's a couple f
Cyborg
bombs. I
says
think
it. Yeah.
a shit
Batman
nom.
says it. Batman says, "Yeah, there's shit." Yeah, oh, I caught that the second time. I didn't catch it the first time, but the second
Yeah,
time I caught the shit. And then,
yeah.
yeah, they said the F word 3 times, and I don't know. I mean, I'm happy he did it this way. Honestly, I mean, hell, I mean, I'm all down to see adult version of our superheroes here, taking a
Exactly.
different direction.
And Snyder is feeding into what I think the comic book market has turned into. It's not like kids aren't reading comic books, guys. I mean, at least I
No,
don't know any kids that read comic books.
no, the
It's
graphic
adults.
novels have taken over. Yeah, the adult comics, yeah, they've taken
Yeah.
over. I mean,
I mean, the
look at the
biggest
boys.
comic.
The
Go ahead,
boys is
sorry.
like so. yeah, The Boys is so popular now. It's on the Amazon or whatever, and the comics are
Yes.
very violent. The show is very violent. I mean, the
Yeah.
show is Justice League violence, but just turned up another few notches. You know, maybe 10 more
Exactly.
notches. But uh, yeah, we're in a different world now. I mean, it's
And what was, I mean, the biggest comic of probably the last decade was The Walking Dead, which spawned the
exactly.
TV show, and that's extremely
Yep.
adult. It's got rape
Yep.
scenes, beheadings,
Oh yeah.
body limbs being cut. So the comics market is geared towards these adult geeks who have the money to go to the comic cons and this, that, and the
Hmm.
third. So things change with time,
Oh yeah.
and you got to get with the times. I
Mhm.
appreciate, obviously. I'll still sit and watch Super Friends if I happen to catch it. That silly Super Friends from the 1970s, and it's cute and it's fun, but we live in a different world, and that's
Mm.
what the power of comics is, that they reflect the world around you. Well, that's the power of literature in general, or any
Yeah.
art form. It's a reflection of the world around you. If you get
Hmm.
Superman and Wonder Woman comics from the 1930s and 40s, it dealt with immigrants. Like Superman was an allegory for the struggle of immigrants. It was these two lonely Jewish kids that felt completely alienated. Kal-El, no surprise, it sounds like Hebrew, okay? And Hebrew
Hmm.
has a lot of owls, Shabbat owl and whatever,
Yep.
Beth Al. So yeah, it was an allegory for the feelings of isolation, being Jewish at the time during the World Wars. Wonder Woman would go off and help the Allies fight Hitler and everything. So
Mm.
the comics are a reflection of this. In the 1950s, like we've said already, yeah, they major censorship, so they had to cut a lot of these storylines. But as we get into the 80s, Frank Miller coming around, Alan, what's his name from The Watchmen,
Alan
uh,
Moore.
Alan Moore, The
Yep.
Killing Joke,
Hmm.
they took it to a uh, see
The
they
shit, they
they
took it to
they,
the
they
more
took
adult
it
level.
They took it
I
to
mean, they,
a level, but that's because look at what the '80s were. The '80s
oh
were a
yeah.
fucking mess. It was like
Hmm.
I tell a lot of young kids that because I teach a lot of young kids. They're like, "Oh, I want to go to New York. I want to go to New York so bad." This It's like, man, if you only knew the New York that I
Oh
mean, I
yeah.
caught the end of it, because I was
Hmm.
born in '81. So,
Yep.
but I remember the New York that was kind of shady. Like it wasn't the place you wanted to go to, you
Oh,
know?
definitely shady. You had porn shops every other store or whatnot. You had
I
hookers on
know,
the
Times
streets.
Square.
Yeah,
Times
I
Square
mean,
was not Times Square. Times Square
no.
was where you would get hookers
And
and
I miss that New York actually. I watch these movies and I just want I wish I wish I could go back in time and just be there and experience it myself just to see
yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
I'm watching Taxi Driver or another good show if you haven't seen it, The Deuce, where it's a story based on the end of the 70s into the 80s and then up to where New York starts changing.
Oh,
But
cool.
it
Cool
shows the
stuff.
hookers' lives and the pimps, and James Franco's in it. He plays twin brothers that own a one owns a bar and the other one's, you know, into the porn business. So you get all these stories of this world of New York of the late 70s into the 80s, and man, it's very
Exactly.
interesting. I mean, I love that. Yeah.
And the comics reflected that, and the
Oh
characters
yeah.
would reflect that. So I think Superman matured a little bit.
Yep.
Batman got darker, and that
Hmm.
was right around the time when we started brewing. Like they had the Crisis on Infinite Earths to try to reboot everything to kind of reflect the uh, the new version of what these characters should be for the time.
Hmm.
Another good one, by the way. I love the original Turtles movies because that was the New York that
Oh
it was.
yeah.
It needed
Oh
some Ninja
yeah.
Turtles to protect it, um,
Hmm.
and then now, I mean, we're living at a time of terrorism, of pandemics, of
Hmm.
you know, of school shootings. A
Hmm.
1940s version of Superman doesn't work today. A
No,
1970s version of him, a 1980s version of him doesn't work today.
right.
So, yeah, it's a little darker sometimes. Did Snyder maybe go a little too dark? Maybe, but it's still within his universe. That Superman makes sense. So,
I tell you what,
we,
though, this Superman, I like this Superman. I mean, yeah, I'll love the Christopher Reeves. You know what I say about it, but the new Superman, I dig it. He actually looks like the physique looks like the Superman in the comics that I grew up on. I always
yeah.
wanted that Superman. When they rebooted it for that Superman Returns, for me, I wasn't a big fan of that. I was like, oh, really? We're gonna go back to the spandex now in these times? Like
Hmm.
Batman took the jump. He did the jump with Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Where he started wearing different kind of outfit and but this Superman, I mean, shit. I mean, you and Nina were talking about him with his shirt off. I mean, look how ripped this guy is. I mean,
This dude is ripped.
I don't even want
Oh,
to know his
yeah.
diet plan and his workout. I mean,
Shout out to Nina, who,
yeah,
as
thirsty
always, points
Nina.
out the most important parts of this movie. I think she gives it a 5-star rating on the
Did
men.
she?
On the
Oh, of
no,
the
I'm just
men.
saying. I'm joking. I think she gave it a 5-star on the men alone.
Yeah, but you guys were
No,
talking about why did he put that shirt on? Why did Lois give him that shirt? And I'm like, well, come on. I mean, I think Haley brought it up as we're watching it. She was like, I was like, whose shirt is that? She's like, well, that's his father's, And I'm like, oh, okay, And she's like, well, I think she's given that to him to help him remember things,
yeah, I didn't
like
pick
here.
up on that till you
I
said
didn't
it.
either. I
I
didn't
just thought she
either.
was giving him a shirt. I'm like, why would you
Yeah,
give this hunk of a
yeah,
man a shirt?
yep,
Like it's not
yep.
like he's cold or anything.
Right.
His fucking fortress of solitude is up in the fucking Arctic. I don't think he needs a shirt.
Yeah,
Could have given him an old sock or something. It's like,
yeah,
yo, remember daddy.
yeah.
Uh, but so no, yeah. So Nina, I love her, and she's
Oh,
she's
she's great.
she's great at making us appreciate shitty movies, which this one isn't one of them. Just on the man.
I know she'll be like, "This movie's amazing. I love when he does this and this," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, you're not even talking about the actual movie. You're talking
Yes,
about the men." Like 300. Does she even know the plot of 300 yet, or no?
I doubt it. I
She
doubt it.
said I should be a fly on the wall to listen to her and her girlfriends watching 300. And I'm like, oh, I bet you got a bunch of men that's got little Ken dolls running around, extra built. But yeah, she's great. I mean, yeah, about every movie she rates it by the hotness of the men and
And good
how
for
much skin they show.
her. Good for her.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
I
she loves
love the
it.
girls in our group because they're
Oh
all
yeah, they're great.
thirsty as fuck. We got the
Yep.
thirstiest group.
Yeah.
And and it's great. It's great. It's great. And what's great about the talking films community is that we allow it and it's open.
Oh yeah.
Because so many groups are so toxic and it's just got the dudes. The dudes love to do it. Oh, this
Mhm.
girl's so hot, and here this girl, and you never see the
Mhm.
women.
Yeah.
Women got hormones too. Women
Yeah.
love those shirtless shots too, and not just the women, by the way.
Mhm.
Because I knew I was gonna love Creed even before I watched Creed. When I was just looking at those posters, I was like, yeah, this movie is definitely gonna be in my top 10. Thankfully, it was a good movie to boot,
Yeah,
but
of
I
course.
but I knew I was gonna love it even before I watched it.
Yep.
So shout out to the girls in the group, Kate
Mhm.
and Nina, they take the cake. They're
Oh yeah.
our thirstiest.
Yeah, the thirstiest girls in there, or thirstiest women. Yeah, shout out to them. It wouldn't be the same without them. I know that much. So
Exactly. But talking about biggest improvements, for me, Wonder Woman going Warrior. I'm gonna go down the line here because we do
okay.
happen to have a picture of all the heroes there. So Aquaman, eh, he was okay. Nothing
Yeah,
special about Aquaman. I thought for me the biggest improvement with Aquaman was the Aquaman movie. Okay, that was a really cool movie.
yeah, yeah.
But he didn't do much other than, walk around shirtless. He always take his shirt off before going into the ocean. I'm like, man, you're littering the oceans with these shirts. But whatever. He apparently needed to really take his. I don't know where he
I
got these
think
shirts.
I think that's Snyder back behind the camera, like, no, we need another shot of Jason. Take your shirt off when you jump into the ocean. You got to give the thirsties a shot of your big physique. I'm
Yes.
watching it with my girlfriend, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I love Jason. He seems like a nice guy. I root for him. But she's over there like, wow. I'm just like, I'm
It's
just
like,
like, oh,
wait,
what? I was like,
Justin, I didn't get this part of the movie. I'm not that much into comics as you are. Can we just rewind?
yeah, we
Wait, I need
rewind this scene here where he says
rewind this
goodbye to
scene.
Batman.
Yeah,
He
or like,
jumps in the
wait, let's
water.
just pause. Justin, can we just pause right here? Because you really need to explain to me Aquaman's motivation, please. And Justin's like, oh, man.
Yep,
So for me, he was like, of all the characters, weakest link. But
he
cool still,
was.
because it's Jason Momoa, and he just seems like a cool dude off and on
Yep.
screen. Wonder
Hmm.
Woman for me, I'm going right to left here. Wonder Woman, yes, huge improvement as far as making her warrior princess and fucking brutal. Like she just
Hmm.
gave zero shits, and I loved it. Like definite, definite, definite.
Definitely. Yep.
Superman, yes, we got rid of that CGI mustache bullshit. That's a
Oh,
major
thank
improvement.
God. Fuck, man, that was horrible.
Yeah, and he seemed really sinister. I don't
Yeah.
know if
Oh, I
that
loved it.
was. Yeah, no, I loved it too. And part of me wonders if that wasn't seeds of the injustice. I said immortal at the first time. Injustice, Gods Among Us, where he didn't quite come back with all the marbles in place. So that makes me
Yeah.
wonder, because I mean, we did get a more serious Superman before in the Snyderverse, but this was next level, and it made me wonder, like, yo, like, what's up
I
with
think
this
it's
Superman?
I think it's even the tone or the feeling of him wearing the black outfit even, like he
Yeah.
doesn't choose his normal outfit. It like comes out for him and he just walks right past it like nope.
Mhm.
Going for this black,
Yeah.
uniform here. And then like you
Yes.
said he shows up to I'm sorry, what's his name? Steppenwolf. And like
Yes.
you said, the way he fights him, he's got this like he the first scene you see Steppenwolf hit him with this axe that he's been taking out everybody for fucking 3.5 hours or so,
Yes.
and he hits Superman in his shoulder, and Superman is like, "Is that it? Is that all you
Yeah.
got?"
Yeah.
Or
What did he
something like
say?
that.
Like
And then
weak. He was like,
oh
yeah.
yeah, he said that, yeah, weak or something. And then he looks over at the axe on his shoulder and he blows on it, and he freezes it, and then he smashes the goddamn thing. And then he tosses, he hits, Steppenwolf, and then he beats the living shit out of him. I mean, this Superman
Exactly.
is
He's
like,
beating,
you
and
can't
then
fuck with me.
it's he can't fuck with me. And he beats him. He red beams his
Oh
horn
yeah,
off. And
yeah,
you're like, okay, I think you beat him, Superman. And he's like, he keeps knocking up, pow, pow, pow.
yeah,
And the rest of the Justice League is just watching. And
yeah.
that's
They're
when I was
watching,
like,
just
wait,
like, holy shit.
one of them's going to tell him to stop, but I
Nope.
wouldn't be the one to do it.
No, no. They
And-
were actually happy though. He was this,
exactly. That's what
strong
shocked
force.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
they
then
were
he, and
all.
then,
Wonder Woman was smiling. Like she shows up after Superman beats the living shit out of him. She shows up with her. She does her little arm, her little power mover. She's smiling like, "Yeah, we're in it now." We got Superman, and he's a bad motherfucker. You know.
yes.
But I think what they're doing, he's wearing this dark suit. He's got this different attitude when he's coming back, and it's like that nightmare shit. It's kind
Yeah.
of it's easy if Lois Lane, I feel, if she dies at all in any of these, and I know, Snyder, he wants to show us like
Well,
Batman
they showed the clip.
supposedly,
They showed the
yeah.
clip of her dead in
I
in
read an
the in the
article
movie.
where Snyder said if he was able to do a sequel or two, that he would show, where Superman goes to fight Darkseid or whatnot, and he tells Batman, stay out of this fight. You go protect Lois while I fight this guy. We got our thing
Right.
going on here, and then Batman fails. He
Exactly.
fails saving her, and that's what completely turns him. Then he's already got that different mindset a little bit, and I think that's what he's wanting to show us. There's this, there's a real, there's a big chance that everything can go wrong, and then the
Exactly.
Superman is going to destroy everything, and our world that we know it is gone. Our hero.
Exactly. And I like that he was taking it in that direction where
Yeah,
we can see
yeah,
Superman with this, like, he's a dangerous
yeah,
dude, you know?
yeah. He's a
He could
he's
be
a he's the biggest threat.
he's the biggest threat, and you don't just come back from the dead okay,
Right.
you know?
Right. Well,
Where
look,
the
when he
comic
first
book.
came back, he was confused. Hell, he was beating the shit out of everybody when he first came back.
Exactly. Like the marbles aren't
Yeah.
all there, which the comics didn't
Mm-hmm.
go in that direction. The black suit, by the way, for those that don't know, in the
Yeah.
comics was a
Yeah.
regeneration suit because he didn't have all his
Yep.
powers back.
Yep.
But he did come back fully Superman, Clark
Yeah.
Kent, like
Yep.
he came back okay. Where in this Snyder wanted the black suit without the cape, but the studios wouldn't let him do it. So what he actually did here is he just colored it over black. That's why you get the black suit with. Because I know that that was a complaint I heard, where it's like, oh, I wish they would have explained the black suit a little bit better of why he's wearing it because it's supposed to regenerate his powers. But he came back full power,
Yeah, it
so
was full power.
obviously
They left
the
that
black
part
suit
out.
is, yeah. I mean, they
No,
had
the
that one scene where he goes up and he's like facing the sun. So I figured, okay, I guess they're kind of showing that he's getting regenerated by the sun, but the black
Oh,
suit
yep.
didn't have much to do with it. So
Yeah.
I like your take on it, which I think maybe is what Snyder's going for. Well, I can't explain it the way I wanted to explain it, like it is in the comics. So
Mm-hmm.
instead, I'm gonna have this Superman come back that maybe isn't all right in the head yet. You know?
Right. Well, I've read something about he also picks this black. I'm not sure if this is all correct, but I've come across many articles, but they were saying he feels he don't deserve the original outfit right now. Like he don't feel he deserves that one yet. Is also what I've read. Where he feels once he deserves, like he does, a lot of good or whatever he does saves the world. He will wear that uniform again. But I'm not sure. I think it's still. This is
I
a
think
different
well, you,
Superman. This is a different Superman when he
yeah,
came back a little
I
bit
think something is
by his
fucked in his head.
violence, his arrogance, not towards his friends, but Steppenwolf, he was no threat to Superman whatsoever. Not even a little bit.
Exactly. No,
Not even a
because
little bit.
because and I think that's the arc that Snyder was going for,
Yeah.
because in the first one he had to kill Zod and he didn't want to. He played as close to the Superman we're accustomed to as possible, but
Hmm.
he had to kill Zod. In the second one, fighting against what's his name, Doomsday,
Yep.
he realized, if I hold back,
Yeah.
I lose. You
Yep.
know,
I die. Yeah, and he don't
I
want to die
die.
again.
So this is a Superman that's got these two things in his mind of, like, in the first movie, look how many casualties I caused trying to not kill, and then
Hmm.
in the second one, I ended up dying because I didn't
Yep.
just go beast mode. So he's taking no prisoners.
Yep.
So I thought that was a huge improvement for him. And also, by the way, just going back to Gal Gadot, I forgot if we talked about it before we were on air or while we were live, but taking out all the sexual stuff that Whedon was
Oh, thank
when the
God.
butt shots and this and that and the third. And
Yeah.
for those that don't know, in the Whedon cut, that scene where Flash falls onto her breast, that was not Gal Gadot. That was a body double because Gal Gadot
Yeah.
would not film that. She refused to film that scene. So he's like, well, whatever, we'll film it anyway, and use the body double, and then just got her reaction shot. So she wasn't even aware that that was how they had filmed that. So
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
glad they desexualized her, even though I mean part of Wonder Woman is yes, she's sexy as hell, but so are the men. So I
Right.
don't get.
Why do we got to point at Wonder Woman over and over again? We
Yeah,
get it.
dude.
She's hot. I know she's hot. I'm the one that
Yes.
pays to see her. But, I want to see, like we just saw this past weekend, is this she's hot, she's sexy, but she's also, you don't fuck with her. You're
Exactly.
not able to say these kind of jokes to her because she's still intimidating. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like Flash talking to Cyborg, like, do you think she likes younger men? Like he's not gonna go up to her and say she's, hot or whatnot. You see him looking at her here and there, but
Exactly.
I
But
mean, you gotta
she's
respect her.
5,000 years
You
old.
you have to
Every guy's a
respect
younger
the
guy.
character. Yes. Yep. Yeah,
That's
every
okay.
guy's a younger guy.
You
But
know, no, definitely, and that's a weird criticism. I mean, I know it comes from maybe a good place with a lot of the more feminists who are like, oh, we shouldn't over sexualize female characters, but they over sexualize. The men are all like
well, look
eight
at
pounds.
all the men. Shit, you
Yeah,
got Jason Momoa taking his shirt off, getting women and men, everyone getting all riled up, and then you got
exactly.
Superman with his shirt off, and so everyone's happy. So yeah, I mean, but
And
I,
Bruce in BVS, he had a little workout scene with his
oh
shirt
yeah,
off, looking all
he's all
sexy,
buffed up and shit.
getting ready to
But
beat up Superman.
you don't have women going up to Superman or Batman or Aquaman and in the movie saying, "Oh, you're hot," or
Exactly. I think that's where the line is drawn, where it gets to be stupid that the women have to
yeah,
deal with that and the men don't. And I'm glad
right,
that as sexy as she is, yeah, you're
hmm
not gonna sexualize her, by having
right,
a character go up and land on her fucking tits. Come on.
right.
So that's a major improvement. And now
Yes,
going down
absolutely.
to Batman. Actually, you know what? So this doesn't take super forever. I'm gonna go back, and then maybe we should both talk about the characters at the same
Or
time.
yeah,
Uh,
I was gonna say we
going
could
back,
just do that.
yeah, going back to Aquaman. You got any notes on that?
For
Any improvements?
Aquaman, I'm gonna rate him the same with you. He's a good character. I like him. He fits. Jason Momoa he's awesome. He's a great guy behind the scenes. It seems like. Um, I enjoyed him, but the thing is, everyone is improved in this movie as
Mm-hmm.
Cyborg or Flash. It kind of brings him down because I mean we got so much story in Cyborg, Flash, a little bit different Batman. You got this exciting Superman, which sadly is not in it until
Uh-huh.
the last hour. But it's perfect for it though when he shows up
Yeah,
because he's so powerful. But for Aquaman, I mean, I dig him. I like him. It's just he didn't have a lot to work with. I mean,
yeah,
like you said, there's already the Aquaman movie, which Snyder definitely knew because he produced it, or I think he produced that one. Maybe he didn't, but he did know it was happening. So he knew where to focus with, the other characters that weren't getting the limelight yet. So
yeah.
Aquaman's still down there with me. Did you go with your next one or no? I
And then
think you
Wonder
did. Wonder
Woman.
Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman. Let me think here. So you got Cyborg, Superman, Flash, Aquaman, Batman. Wonder Woman or Batman? I would. It's tough. I'd have to guess I'd say Wonder Woman. Like I love you obviously know I love this Wonder Woman the best. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, she didn't have a whole lot to work with. There's much story as well. So, but we got to see the battle side of her, so I was happy with that. But yeah, I'd put
Yeah,
her at the next level as well. I would agree with that definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Um,
Superman, we were more or less talking about.
Well, Superman I'd put next just because, like I just said, he don't show up till the end, which is perfect because you got to know he's missing. You got to have some time
Hmm.
with him not coming back, and but when he does come back, it's fucking awesome. It's
Yeah,
like we've been talking about. It's this new
exactly.
Superman where he's a badass, and so I'd put him next right there, and
Yeah. And then
yeah,
we're moving on to Batman as far as biggest improvements for Batman.
oh yeah,
um, oh, excuse me. Well, he stop being a jokester. I'm like,
Yeah, I love that.
that took me
Yep,
out of the movie, out of Joss Whedon's movie. I'm like,
it did. It did. It
Batman
wasn't the
cracks
same Batman.
jokes,
Yeah.
but not like that. I mean, if you read the comics and you read, and even if you watch the cartoon, the animated series, or even the Justice League DC animated movies, yeah, he'll crack a few jokes here and there, but
Hmm.
and sometimes he'll be a little bit lighter,
Right.
but not to that level. I mean,
No,
this was,
his jokes are more like a dry sense of humor type, or
yeah,
like
exactly,
he doesn't do one-liners a lot, a bunch of
yeah,
one-liners. I mean, granted, we got the "What's your superpower?" I'm rich, but
yeah,
hell, that is a
but dude,
superpower. I mean,
yeah, but it worked in this
it
movie.
worked.
Like,
It was perfect.
and I was even talking to Craig. I was like, it even worked as almost like it wasn't a joke. Like he was just being dead serious. Like this is my
Yeah.
superpower. I'm
Or
rich,
it's like, how
So
many satellite you own a satellite? I own six. Like he was just
yeah,
like, I own six. What's the big deal? Or
exactly.
I how did you get my house? How'd you get my mom's house back from Superman for his mother? And he's like, I bought the bank. He's just,
Yeah,
I'm rich. Like whatever.
exactly. So those are the jokes that work. It's just
Yeah.
it's not even a joke. It's just no, this is reality, but it's just so absurd that
Hmm.
it makes you laugh. So that's the number one improvement. As far
Hmm.
as Batman himself, I think the Bruce Wayne part, I thought was a lot more interesting in this movie than in the Whedon
Yeah.
one, from what I can remember of it. Like the Batman was more or less the same, aside from obviously taking out the jokes, but he had more or less the same action scenes. He was the
Yeah.
same
Pretty much
character.
the same character. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Just
just
no
they made him.
one-liners. Yeah.
hmm So,
Uh.
and then we'll get to these last two guys, which were really the stars for me. And then so Flash, for me, biggest improvement is that they gave him a backstory. I got to see, he had the issues with his dad. He's setting up the universe because what was cool about this movie is that it managed to do what a lot of folks, including myself, complained,
Mm,
or I thought was the biggest criticism with DC, is that they were trying to do what Marvel did in one movie,
yeah.
whereas Marvel, they took like 10 fucking years to get there, to get
Yep.
to even to the first Avengers movie. It took what, like 6 movies or something, 6, 7 movies before we got to the first Avengers movie.
Yep.
So they took their time, and then it made sense for this all to come together. Where it's like, how are you gonna do this DC in 2 movies, basically? Because we only had
Hmm.
Man of Steel, BVS, and then Justice
Yep.
League. I think maybe Wonder Woman may have come out before. I forgot now. But
Wonder Woman did. Wonder Woman came out before. Yep.
okay, cool.
Yep. So
So
we had three movies before.
three
Yep.
movies, yeah. So how are you gonna do? So
Well, Snyder did it perfect though. I mean, he gave us what we.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like that was where I was gonna come to. Is like, had we had this version of the movie,
Hmm.
yes, he did it. Like he was
He
able
did
to
it.
universe build
Hmm.
and give us a story at the same time,
Yep.
and some of it, for some fans or some people that aren't keyed in, they'll be like, "Oh my God, why am I seeing all this backstory with the Flash that maybe like the scene with Iris? Okay, it doesn't come up again in the movie, but it's because he's universe building, and the idea is, yeah, we're gonna have a Flash solo movie. We're gonna have these characters come back later,
Hmm.
so it makes sense on that, like on that level.
Hmm.
So I loved him. I liked the Flash. He wasn't. I mean, he was still the jokester, but not
Hmm.
just like a silly sidekick. For
Yeah.
Batman, the
Yep.
funny, like the Jerry Lewis to the Dean Martin.
Yep.
Um, his action scenes were awesome. They like when he saved those people, and we'll talk about favorite scenes in a little bit, guys. But when remember in the when they were fighting in the tunnel, and then he saved all those folks from the
Oh yeah.
falling debris. Like
Yep.
we got to showcase the Flash's powers and
Hmm.
what he's capable of doing in the extent of his powers. Because I know there's a lot of Flash haters out there. I don't know why, but I always
Well,
dug the
I think
Flash.
there's Flash haters now is because of the past Justice League. It didn't do him any justice. You
Was
know, I
it?
mean,
Yeah, because the show was kind of a success, right, on the CW. I couldn't really get into it, but
oh,
I know it was kind
I
of.
didn't watch that one. I didn't. I don't watch those. I feel like
I,
I
dude,
feel like those are the Marvels or something. I don't know. I
yes,
mean, yeah, yeah. I just
dude.
don't. It's not my
Remember,
cup of tea, man.
look, remember everybody. I started the show saying I'm a DC fanboy, but I got a critical eye, and I cannot watch those CW shows. I tried Supergirl. I was like, it's cute. The girl's definitely cute, but I just like 2, 3 episodes in. I'm just like, I can't watch this shit. I
Right.
tried
Yeah.
the Green Arrow one. I tried the Flash. Couldn't get into it. I did watch the
Mhm.
Crisis on Infinite Earths saga, although I didn't. I think I finished it. It was okay, but it's like very Marvel. It's very light, very, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's just
okay,
light.
whatever.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. Although, shout out to Superman and Lois. That's a good fucking show. And it's a little bit more mature.
What
So,
one?
if you haven't
Super.
seen it, Justin, the new one that just premiered, Superman and Lois,
Oh, I haven't. No, I have not.
check it out. You got it.
I figured it was another WB lighthearted take on Lois and
No,
Superman.
it's way more adult, mature. I was shocked, because I was reading a lot of buzz for it, a lot of good reviews. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. Let me see. Um, and it's really like a crazy story. It's like Superman and Lois are married, but they got 2 teenage sons. One of them has social anxiety disorder,
What?
and they get fired
Oh,
from their job, so they have to move back to Smallville because there's this like rich dude that's like buying out a bunch of shit. So they fire Clark Kent. They fire no Lois quits. They move back to Smallville, and they have to deal with like just parenting, realizing one of their sons has some powers or maybe doesn't, and it's just a totally different take on it, because at first I was like, oh my god, is this going to be Lois and Clark again? Which was a cute show, but it got old quick.
mm-hmm.
But no, it's a very kind of family drama, kind of like, whoa, this is a different take on these characters. So I dig it.
I'll give it a. I'll
Give it a
check it
try.
out for sure. I will. I will. Damn, dude, you're getting me this whole list going on here.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be DC'd up, and they got Lex Lu. Maybe that's a spoiler. Okay, uh, the bad guy's interesting, and his motivations for wanting to kill Superman are very interesting, which you might appreciate. And we get some dark Superman and all of that. Um,
Oh,
very dark Superman, in fact. So
wow.
cool series. Actually, I gotta get back to watching. I was just so busy, but I saw the first 2 or 3 episodes, however
I
many there
might
are.
put that on tonight then, and check that out. Because I know Haley, she's not. Well, she might be interested once I tell her that or get her to watch one with me. But she's already thinking it's another lighthearted TV show, and she's not
It-
interested.
yeah,
So
no, I
is that
totally
guy? Did that
go
guy
ahead.
play Superman before? Has he played him before? 'Cause I
He's
swore he
played it
did.
in the Supergirl show, so he was the Superman from Supergirl. And he
Okay,
was
okay,
okay. I mean, he's kind of light. I was like, okay, he's nice, but nothing special. He was in the Crisis on Infinite Earths too, and
okay.
I think he showed up to, I think last season or the season before they introduced Superman into Supergirl, the
Oh,
series, but nothing spectacular. I was like, okay, whatever. But here, it's like a whole different take on it. It's a little bit more grown up. And actually, speaking of Pete, I told Pete you might actually like this because there's a whole Pete's into like these teen drama type shows, and there's a little bit of that as far as with the kid moving to a new town, the sons, the super
hmm.
sons, and he has he's all fucked up in the head, and then he meets this girl that he liked when he was a kid, and she was trying to commit suicide because of it. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Damn.
But
Okay.
yeah, watch
It's
the
got the
first
soap.
episode.
Okay,
That's all in
I'll
episode one. That's all in
what
episode one.
what's this on, bud? Or do you know?
It's on the
Or I
CW. But you know me, I don't have any of these, so I just pirate my
well,
way through
oh,
shit.
I'm in. We're on the same ship, bud.
Yeah,
It's just
so it's either like watch series or 1, 2, 3 movies or put locker. It's there. I mean, it's not
right,
difficult to
right.
find. Just put in Superman and Lois.
I'm actually going on my cinema free app right now, and I'm gonna put that in my favorites. And then I'm gonna snap. No, I already own those cartoons. Oh, speaking of which, that Justice League. See if you can look up that Apocalypse one. Is there not another one with that or the same guy? It made it because I know
Let me
there's
see.
another rated R Justice League as well. Not just that one. There's another one. There's two.
Oh, I
I
see
do
the
remember. I
Justice
think I
League
bought them
though.
both.
Let me see. Look, I'm on 1, 2, 3 movies. I see Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, Justice League versus the Fatal Five.
Justice League Dark. I think it
Oh
might
yeah, I
be
see
Fatal.
that there's Justice League Dark, just Justice League Dark, and then there's Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Oh, now I gotta watch this other one.
I
All
think.
right. No,
Yeah,
I
I
think
could.
it is, yeah, because it's got Swamp Thing. Yeah,
Okay.
Constantine is in this one. He joined the
Yeah.
Justice League and he's all fucked up. He's like getting
Yeah.
drunk the whole
I,
cartoon.
I'm hearing the Constantines are good as well. Those two features he had. Those are rated R as well. The
Oh
Constantine
shit,
ones.
I'm gonna watch this one after.
Because
This
he's
came
got
out in
Batman in one of them.
2017.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so Justice League Dark came out in 2017, and then Justice League Dark Apocalypse War came out last year, 2020.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
shit. No, definitely. I'm on that. I'm on that.
Yep.
I'm gonna watch that right after. Oh, cool, 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 cool. Um, so yeah, Batman, like I said, biggest improvement. I think both Jess and I agree. It's just less jokey.
Yeah.
Oh no, we were on Flash already. Yeah, so Flash, yeah, I just
I
more
loved
interesting
Flash.
character. And what about Cyborg? Cyborg, just the fact that he was in the movie. That's the biggest improvement for me. You know? Uh-oh, did I lose Justin? You there? I might have lost Justin Bramlett. Um, but yeah, the Cyborg, for me, the biggest improvement is the fact that he was in the movie. He got a backstory. He got an origin story. Flash didn't get an origin story,
Work
but
better. You
I
know, they're
think that.
when they
Oh,
first
no, now
meet.
he's back. There you go.
Yeah, yep. And then it's just this more excited, nervous little younger guy. But I also like that they showed us, when they were showing us his story, he's trying to get a job. He's trying to help his dad, but then he saves this girl, and they give you this moment, this hint of there's going to be a love story coming in his movie with that same girl. I know she signed on to his movie that they're going to, I don't know if they started filming that yet or not, but that whole scene when she, gets in that accident and she's flying through the air and they got that song playing, the song of Siren, and I could feel like right there this love story starting, and I actually felt it, and I actually felt, for him, a little happy for him, like, oh, that's a cute little scene here, and then he takes off because he, no one can see him, but it just works better because he felt like he was a part of the Justice League in this one, especially the ending, or not even the ending, getting Superman back. I'm not sure how they worked it in the old one or the 2017 version, but all I remember from the 2017 version was, I'm tired of this guy. He needs to shut up. I'm tired of hearing his stupid jokes. I don't care about him. You know, and in this one, I was rooting for him. I was really rooting for him.
I
And
agree with you. Like he made no impact on me in the first movie. I don't
right,
even remember. I have to go
right.
back and watch it. I'm gonna go
I'm
through
gonna
the
have to
picture.
too. I guess just to
Yes,
look, it's just painful. I mean, it's
yes.
really, especially for fans, for us when we're, Batman, Superman, people hated it, and I still fought for that movie, and I'm still screaming, watch the ultimate cut, same as you, and
Mhm.
it was tough. It was tough. When I got out of the theater, you saw it before me. I remember you wrote something on Talking Films about it, and you said, I really wanted to love this thing, and you talked to me, and you said, Justin, I know what you like on these movies, and he's like, I think you're gonna feel the same way. and you're gonna know what scenes I'm talking about. And sure enough, I
Mm-hmm.
went and I came out bummed, you know, like, oh man, this is what they work. This is Snyder, you know, because it still said Zack Snyder on it, you know, directed by, which is bullshit. They should have just put it, you know, Whedon. And you know, I don't know. It was just a big letdown, and introducing us to the Flash, you know, I felt bad for the guy. You know, it's got to suck for these actors that, you know, work their asses off and they know what scenes they filmed that are supposed to be in the movie. You know, you go back to the Cyborg guy Fisher. You know, these
Yeah,
guys work their asses
let's
off.
move into Cyborg because for me that was the biggest improvement was him.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah,
the
absolutely.
just the fact that he was in the movie to begin
Hmm.
with, that was a huge improvement,
Oh yeah.
and the his whole story with his dad was so heartfelt. Like, well,
Oh
with a
yeah.
lot of these guys' dads, I think that was a big theme of the movie. One was redemption,
Yep.
um, especially with Batman, but with a lot of these characters, not not having a good time growing up and
Right.
just realizing they got something bigger to do. And we did have shades of that with Aquaman because Aquaman's like, my mom left me and I don't want to
Right.
be the king of the ocean and or the seven oceans, but realizing, okay, but you are,
Right. Right.
Batman really feeling guilty about what happened with Superman and trying
Superman.
to fix that. Flash also trying to make up for his dad, which he had nothing to do with, but he still felt guilt about that. So that was a
Hmm.
running theme. And then obviously with Cyborg, with his dad that was not present, but then
Hmm.
just finding out. Well, finding out that his dad did love him, and I was just gonna say, even with Superman, they added that in with when they put the Pa Kent picture in the water when they were reviving him. So
Hmm.
a lot of father stuff. Wonder Woman didn't have that much going on for her, but again, her movie was about to come out or came out before, so I guess Snyder
Right.
was
We
like,
had her
"Yeah,
story. Yeah.
we had her story already."
Yep.
So they what they did with Cyborg was so great that it made me even think like, dude, I could watch like a Cyborg movie.
Yeah. If
Like
if written if written correct, or directed by the right man, hopefully Snyder or someone like him that respects the
yes,
character.
yeah,
Uh I mean, I ended up, like I said, I went in there thinking, oh God, Cyborg, and then I'm reading all these headlines like, oh, look at him, he's upset because he didn't get enough screen time. Then I watch this thing and I'm like, wow, I get it. I mean, I get why he was so upset.
no,
I mean,
exactly, man. Imagine if you filmed that much. Like, I can understand an actor being a little upset. Okay, I filmed this scene that I thought was cool and it got cut. Okay,
right?
it's one scene. It was at
Hmm.
least 30 minutes of movie
Yeah, it
that
was really
was
disrespectful. I mean, it was.
were absolutely cut, extremely disrespectful, and a
Mhm.
powerful story that gave us the heart of the movie. I mean,
Yep.
because yeah, the Flash did have the scenes with his dad, but it didn't really lead to much. I mean, at the end, look, Dad, I got a job finally. Like
Hmm.
Batman, nothing really. I mean, okay, he brought Superman back, hooray!
Well,
Wonder
that was
Woman,
his whole
Aquaman,
thing.
and
This
Superman.
Batman was kind of in the background a little bit, just because
Yeah.
he was the creator. I mean, he was the guy to get them together. But I mean, well, we were supposed to get the Batman, with him after that
Yeah,
because the Deathstroke, thing was about to happen. That's the clip
exactly.
we got with Lex Luthor where he was like, "I know who Batman is, Bruce Wayne." We were supposed to see
Yes.
that in the Batman that Ben Affleck wrote and was supposed to direct. But then again, WB was like, you know what? No, we don't like it. So they got rid of him on it. And now we got
Oh,
the Batman
God.
coming next year or two with a different take. I hope they go back and let Ben Affleck give us that Batman.
I would
I'd
love it.
watch
I
it.
would love to see it. I would definitely would
I
watch
want
it.
to see more
So,
Joker and Batman after the Nightmare thing. So, you know,
exactly. No, we'll get to all the
yeah,
scenes in a minute,
yeah.
but I'm just saying none of the other five characters had an emotional motivation. They had definitely had a practical motivation to beat Steppenwolf, but not an emotional, just internal motivation like Cyborg. And it that's why he was the heart of the movie. That's what made that like
Mm-hmm.
to a point where you could even get emotional, like when he finally shows up at the end and they're breaking into the lab, Star Labs, and his dad is there, and the dad's like, oh, because Cyborg put a virus in there to get everybody, on the computer system to make everybody think there was like what was it, like some emergency. And the
Mm-hmm.
dad's like, no, guys, it's like somebody hacked the system. And then he sees his son leading. I mean, that's such an important scene. Like
Yep.
he's head of the pack of
Yep.
the Justice
Yep.
League,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "That's my son,"
Yep. Yep.
and
Oh, it
it's
was
an
very,
emotional scene. It's an emotional
very
scene.
emotional,
Yeah,
heartwarming. Yeah, I mean, you get the feels, and
you get the
that's
feels.
what that's what the other Justice League was missing. It went, like you said earlier, back to Avenger style, cracking jokes and action, and that's not the Snyderverse. It's
Yeah,
more
no,
about the heart.
but
Or
in what worked
now.
with the Avengers is that
Mhm.
we got all those movies before,
Yep.
which gave us emotional investment in these characters already, so that when
Hmm.
they are cracking jokes and when they are trying to get together, but you knew who Tony Stark was over, 5 years.
Yeah.
You knew who Captain America was. You knew who all these characters were
Hmm.
before they showed up.
Right. That's what made it so
So
epic.
So that's what made it epic and what made you care about them.
Yep.
Whereas we didn't cut that out for half of this cast.
Hmm.
Therefore, we were just like, why do we care? Okay, we have and we'll talk about Steppenwolf in a second, but we have this CGI dude that shows up that the Justice League has to be like, why? Like, I've already seen this movie. It was called The
Hmm.
Avengers, where we have
Right.
some interplanetary creature come down that wants to take over the Earth, and
And
these
have really
superheroes
no
need to
idea
come
what is.
together
Yeah.
to beat him.
And
Like I saw
yeah.
that already in New
Yeah.
York, and they beat
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So this movie gave us the heart, the feel,
Hmm.
the like caring about why these characters are coming together and who they all are individually. And yeah, they did the best work with Ray Fisher's character, and so many, on so many levels, of having him just be very, very human. One
Oh
scene
yeah.
that I didn't pick up on, by the way, and I forgot who I was listening to because I've been listening to so many podcasts about this movie, but somebody mentioned the scene where he helped the lady, that was the waitress and
Oh
stuff, right?
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
did you pick up
That
on
was.
this? Because
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Oh
no, no,
yeah.
no. But did you pick up on this? Because I didn't. Like when he's watching her on the ATM and he turns around and there's this white couple that gets scared when they see this black dude, and then he puts on the
No.
hoodie, right? I was
Oh.
like,
Oh yeah.
whoa, that's so
Yeah.
deep on a lot of levels, with
Oh
him
yeah.
putting on the hoodie and being like a black character, like he's automatically threatening,
Yeah,
just
right after he did the good deed, and then
exactly.
instantly they're looking at him. Yep, like scared of him. But I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man, I'm like,
yeah,
look at this world he lives in. Where
yeah.
yeah,
So
he's
it'd
trying to
be
be a good
interesting.
person. Yeah, it would be
It'd
for
be
a
interesting
movie.
if like the 5 hour Snyder cut, if he even went into like some of those issues with,
Yeah.
because that's what I like about Snyder. He's not afraid to go into those issues, like with
Mm-hmm.
Superman. Yes, he's an immigrant. He's an
Mm-hmm.
alien. How do Americans treat their immigrants and their aliens and the things that are kind of, or how
Mm-hmm.
quickly can America turn on you? One minute you're
Mm-hmm.
the hero, the next you're the villain. Like
Yep.
he's not afraid to go into these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even so, I imagine if Snyder got a hold of Cyborg 100%, of course he'd get into the blackness of
Oh
Cyborg
yeah,
and what it
definitely.
means to be this very threatening looking uh, thing.
Mm-hmm.
but not just because he's a cyborg, but he's a black dude, you know.
Well,
So I love
that's
it.
what I was. Oh yeah, and that's why I was so confused with the last film. Was we had Black Panther? Did Black Panther come out after that Justice League?
Yeah, I think Black Panther was after.
Okay,
Pretty
yeah,
sure.
because it's almost. I mean, I hate to say this, but it felt like you're saying the black character. It's like Whedon came in and he was just like, "Nah, we don't need this. Who cares? Like, we don't need this." And it's really disrespectful because he was the heart of the film, and or he is, and it just felt. I don't know. There was some shit going behind the scenes of I, Whedon treating him really horrible on set, and there's lawsuits over it now and stuff. But uh, something was wrong there. And then Snyder, like you just said, he pointed out the black hero, and that's what I want to see more of. I want to see more of that. I want, like you're saying, I want to see another hour or hell, his movie and have Snyder direct it. I think honestly, Snyder needs to do his whole, like I've said, on HBO Max and give him all the hours he wants. If he wants to do a 4 hour another movie or a 5 hour, or just break them up in mini series or something, or a series, and finish it off. I don't know if HBO would pay for that, but
Oh,
I would love
right
to see it.
now is the moment for negotiation. Because it's definitely it's hot. It's hot.
Hmm. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know that I'm starting to read articles, and I'm hoping it's real. Like they're paying attention. They're
They
noticing now
definitely
what's
are.
happening here, and you
Le-
got fans flying over their building saying, thank you
Oh,
for
I
the
saw
Snyder
that you
cut.
posted that. I
Isn't
saw
that
you posted
cool?
that. I
That's
saw you
cool.
posted that.
Yep. Yep.
But that was a big criticism, guys. Right here. This is from. Let me share this here, from the Grapevine, where they're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League shows just how dirty the theatrical cut did Ray Fisher.
Hmm.
But they said how they literally cut out all the people of color. Having watched the 2017 cut earlier this week, so I could have a basis of comparison, I'm not being hyperbolic. They literally cut out all the people of color in the theatrical cut. Joe Morton in Justice League 17 for 5 seconds. Kiersey Clemens, she's gone. Harry Lennox, nope. Zen Kai,
Wow.
laugh out loud. That's probably the first time you heard his name. The person they did the
Wow. Yeah.
dirtiest, though, has to be Ray Fisher, who's been alleging the toxic work conditions. And Snyder repeatedly said that Cyborg was the heart of his movie, and he wasn't lying. And then we see an actual arc. He's damn near the protagonist of the movie. We
Yep.
watch as he goes from a resentful kid in the world with his
Hmm.
new body, and he accepts who he is. And Joe Morton obviously gives a
Yeah.
great performance. He's awesome. So after seeing this movie, I would be pretty fucking pissed too if I was Fisher. This was supposed to be his big break, and he eats the role up
Absolutely.
accordingly. Not
Yeah,
only
and
was
he
his
did a
character,
great job. He did a
yeah,
wonderful job. He pulled me in that whole movie. Like I was on board with him the whole movie,
yeah,
and
I was too. I
he
was
did
too.
great. He really did great. And
Yes,
now I'm interested to see more work of this actor, and he did a good job. He did a
I
hell of
know.
a
I
good
hope he
job.
gets more work. I hope he gets more
I do
work
too.
because
I do too.
it's always
I know he's
complicated when you
saying he
go
has
against
no
the
interest,
streets.
right, and I know he has no interest as well before this aired to do DC again. He didn't want to do Cyborg ever again. He was done. Uh,
But you know
I
what? He showed so much love for Zach. I think if Zach were involved, he
well,
would do it because actually he was
he
at the
came back
virtual
and did
premiere.
that. He
Yeah,
came back and did the film the epilogue for Zach. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think
Let's
for
hope.
Zach, they'll do it. I think
Yep.
all of them will do it for Zach
Yeah.
because they trust him, and I think
They're friends.
DC
They
fans
trust him. Yeah.
would trust him.
Hmm.
Um, So let's get. So we're not here till this is gonna be almost as
Yeah.
long as the Justice League. So let's
Holy
get
shit. Yeah.
to the last little bits here. We got two more bits to talk about: favorite scenes and anything that we would change. So favorite scenes for me, it has to be the Dark Side first battle. I think that was the baby Dark Side showing up on Earth. It had the Lord of the Rings feels all over it where
Mm-hmm.
the gods of men and the Atlanteans and
Yep.
the Amazonians all came together and they fought Darkseid, beat him back, and it was great to see Darkseid because when they started this whole Snyder verse, whatever, I was like, dude, I'm finally gonna get to see Darkseid on the big screen. And those that don't know, Darkseid came out way before Thanos. He
Yes,
was
he did.
the granddaddy. Thanos is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a ripoff of him. And Thanos is not even that great in the comic books. He was great in the movie. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody here has actually sat and read the Infinity War
I have. Yes.
comic.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's good, but it's not
It's
like,
not. It. Yeah. It's not like the
yeah.
movie of.
Definitely not. And it like and the
Mm-mm.
motivation is totally different, right? Like he wants to impress this bitch in hell or something. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's
No.
not that great.
No.
But
No.
so Darkseid though, he's major badass since forever. So
Right.
anybody that's saying he's a ripoff of Thanos, get your shit straight. And he's nothing like him. Totally different rendering, way more
Yep.
menacing, way darker. Even though he's basically just a glorified cameo
Right.
in the movie. So I dug those scenes.
Oh,
That
they were
scene was
fucking
my favorite,
fantastic.
and the
Oh
final
man.
scene where they're beating the shit out of Thanos. Like, cause dude, by the time we got to that final scene in the Whedon
Mm-hmm.
version, I
Yeah.
just I was
I
I
didn't
just
care.
wasn't in the movie. I didn't care.
No.
They had a
I
weird
didn't
Russian
care.
family that was
Yep.
supposed to make me care, and I'm like, why is this
Yeah.
Russian
What the?
family living out here
What the
to
hell are
begin
they even
with?
doing? Yeah, I don't even. I barely remember that. Yeah. Like, what is that?
Those were the stakes. Those were the stakes, which Mark Bernard was giving as a criticism, was that there were no stakes in this movie. The
Right.
stakes is the fucking planet. It's just it's like it's a
Yeah.
fucking superhero movie. But that was Whedon's version of like, oh, but we need stakes. We need somebody that needs to get saved. And okay, there weren't that
Uh.
many people that needed to get saved in this movie, but whatever. Um, so those were my two favorite scenes: the Dark Side and Steppenwolf. Which, just for a second, Justin, before you move on to your favorite scenes, we got to talk a little Steppenwolf.
Oh
Major
yeah.
improvement. That should
Major.
be up when we skipped that when we talk about biggest improvements of the movie as a whole.
Oh yeah.
Steppenwolf. I didn't know one. Okay, as much as I do read the comics, I had no clue who the fuck Steppenwolf was. Like, I can't remember one story where he's like a lead villain or anything. So okay, I had no clue who he was.
Hmm.
And after watching the Whedon version, I still had no clue who the fuck he was, why he was
Exactly.
there, why did he show up,
Yep.
why wasn't it Darkseid, and why are we getting Steppenwolf and not Darkseid? He's the character everybody knows, even that are casual fans. So I was confused by the Whedon version of Steppenwolf. Didn't look threatening. Looked
Hmm.
like just some dude in really bad CGI. Didn't get
Yeah.
why he was on Earth, what he was doing.
Yep.
This movie, we cared about him. He was like, he had mega motivation. You even almost felt bad for him at the end because he's just trying to get back in the good graces of I think it's his uncle or something, or his nephew, Darkseid.
It's something
Uh,
family. I didn't know if it was his dad or uncle or
Yes,
something.
it's family related. It's family
Yep.
related. So he's just trying to get back in his good graces, and you feel so bad for him. And like when Darkseid shows up for the first time, and he like kind of strips down, and he's got the little face, all like, "Oh my
Hmm.
God, I'm so sorry." So
Yeah.
I love Steppenwolf's rendering and his whole character, and it makes sense because of that first scene where Superman's cry lets the universe know that the god is dead, whereas the Whedon
Yep.
one didn't explain that. It's something so basic, like
Yep.
it was like I didn't understand. I mean, they through the dialogue they said it. Oh, Superman's dead. I guess
Well, they
now
did it.
it's
Yeah, they did it with the Batman Tim Burton knockoff scene, Like he's dead, like or something that criminal said it that Batman was, fucking with. But then they
yes.
also showed it in a bird cage with bird shit on it, a newspaper that says
Hmm.
Superman's dead. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah, but how the
awesome.
fuck are they gonna read a newspaper in another fucking galaxy? You know, it's like
Right,
it
right.
didn't make that connection. Like the connection was very clear in this movie that Superman died, his scream resonated through all the planet and it went out into the universe, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like the bell has rung.
Yep.
Superman's dead, we can attack
Mm-hmm.
Earth. Because you know they weren't fucking with Earth with the kryptonite on there, as we saw in the end. So,
Right.
biggest improvement for me was I had a villain that I actually gave a shit about, which I could. You made no
I
sense to me in the
agree.
first movie.
Completely
But go
agree,
ahead.
man. No, yeah, I agree. I think his look was better. I wasn't digging his look in the last one. Honestly, any his I don't really remember his uniform, but I know in
He's the
this
uncle,
one,
by the way. He's the uncle. He's Darkseid's uncle.
oh, okay, Darkseid's his uncle. No shit.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I sympathized
What the
with him. I felt
fuck?
bad for him. Shit, man, he had a cool. I liked his uniform in this one. They're shooting
Yes.
arrows at him, and he just does
Oh.
like it just breaks them all. I was like, fuck yeah, man, hell yeah, dude, you fight these 300 bitches, or you go for it. But
Yeah.
I dug him. I knew what he was up to. I knew what was going on. I knew his motivation through the whole movie. I felt bad for him near the end. Hell, I even felt bad for him in the end where he's sitting there and he's like, he's come. Darkseid's he's here. Well, Darkseid don't give a shit about him really. He's
Yeah.
like, whatever, get beheaded. But a big improvement. My girlfriend thought that he looked better in the other one.
Mm.
Uh, I don't know. She just said she thinks he looked too much like a character from Thor or something.
Yeah,
Um,
they look kind of turtleish. They all kind of look
yeah,
kind of turtleish.
yeah,
Like the but in which I don't get why Granny, what's her name? Granny Goodness, whatever she is, looks kind of human because everybody else, like the Sod, Dark
yeah,
Side, and him, they all kind of have this kind of
yeah,
turtle-ish look to them. But
yeah. I
he
don't
looked,
know. It was a great improvement. I think everyone can agree. Like it was a good villain in this one. You need the story with him. You need the heart of what you got to try to understand him. What his motivations are. And the other one, I couldn't even tell you what the hell was going on. I was in the
yeah.
theater. I saw it twice. I still didn't know what was going on. I was like, okay, this guy's just coming to Earth to destroy it. Did they even mention the boxes much in that one? I don't.
I
A
I
little
think they
bit.
must have. They had to because it's like part of the climax. But
Right, but it wasn't really focused as much like, Superman died when he screamed. Those
yes,
boxes awoke, they woke up
yeah.
and, they're scared of Superman, like they said in the film, like they're scared of Superman. Like, he's a strong force. So, anyways, yep, I would say the big improvement, looks, character, everything. As usual, Snyder, he killed it. He did a great job. My favorite scenes, Hmm, it's hard to say, but I would have to. I dug the dark side, the that one battle, the dark side, the first battle there, the history one. I thought that was kind of cool with the Zeus and all that in there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. It was it felt Lord of the Rings. It felt a little bit of 300 as well. But I dug it. I was like, oh, this is cool. I see Green Lantern. Look at him. He's flying around. He's kicking ass. Now he's dead. He just
Yes.
got killed. Darkseid just
Yeah, when
fucked him
Darkseid
up.
almost took the ring.
Yeah, he
Darkseid
did.
almost took the ring.
Oh my god, I was like, could you imagine? But then,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was just a cool little history lesson. 5 minute action scene. Really gory. Another scene. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I have to say. I do like when Steppenwolf first shows up on the ladies to the
Yeah.
box. It was more there was a lot more violence in that scene,
Yeah.
and it did feel like a 300 feel in that one with the ladies, like, what are we scared of, or something like that, like no
Show
one,
them
or
your
what do we
fear.
fear, show them your fear, and they're
You
shooting their
fear
arrows.
nothing.
Yeah, we fear nothing. That's it. And
Yeah,
man, that was cool. I mean, that was a cool ass scene. And even when they get out and everything collapses, and that's another 5 minute or so violent,
yeah,
bloody scene. I mean, I'm
yeah,
like, hell yeah, man, this is awesome.
yeah.
This is what fucking comic book movies are now. This is what I want. And obviously, I'm gonna keep saying all the action scenes. So, but what was
But
the
they
other
were
one you said?
good. They were
They were
great.
good.
And while you were talking, I was thinking about that. I was like, I didn't mention the fucking Steppenwolf battle, which was a huge improvement on Whedon's. And
Oh
one thing
God.
that they did is that they showed the sacrifice of these Amazonians, which they didn't
Yes.
do in Whedon's. They
Again,
just
not
kind of,
respecting the women. I don't know what his fucking deal is, but the guy is.
yeah, yeah. And I need to rewatch it because some folks have said that even like he kept showing butt shots, Whedon, like he kept
He
doing like,
was. Yeah.
yeah, and stuff like that, which
Hmm.
I don't recall. So I'm gonna have to rewatch to see how he cut that scene, cause
Well, he took out the arrows, and he took all like you said, the women getting sacrificed. Getting thrown against the walls and getting their heads smashed. Hell, he even kills a horse in that scene when he comes
hmm
outside, killing
oh yeah,
horses and
when
more
he threw
women.
the horse, yeah,
Yeah.
and just the whole temple, right? I don't think in the Whedon cut he shows the temple going down. It just
Oh
shows them
no,
cut.
he breaks through the wall or whatever, and then just runs out and then comes after him. But the scene's probably an added extra, at least 2-3 minutes. I mean, probably
Yeah,
more actually. But that was awesome. But honestly, my favorite is probably the ending with Superman. I mean, that shit had my heart. Actually, that whole climax there had my adrenaline pumping because honestly, I didn't know how it was going to end, because I
hmm
knew it was a different vision, and I did hear there was going to be a cliffhanger. Unfortunately, I heard that, so I knew something was going to happen, and it wasn't going to be all. I was thinking, oh my God, what if Batman dies? Because there was rumors of that, and I was like, oh shit, like what are they going to do? This is intense. My heart's racing. So I would have to give the Superman, that whole last battle is probably one of my favorites. Now I can't even think of half of the major scenes, but I'll go with that for now, unless I think of something else.
Well, what we didn't talk about is the nightmare sequence, which was fucking
Well,
awesome.
there we go. I just forgot about it, and
Yeah.
that is one of my favorite scenes right there, bud. Yep, that's it. Uh, the Joker and Batman. I mean, that chemistry there, it's there. Those two did a hell of a job. And that final nightmare scene, I hear a lot of people, or not a lot, but the naysayers are saying, it was stupid and ridiculous. I don't agree. I think it was really cool the words they had with each other there. I held Harley Quinn while she was dying and bleeding out. She told me to
And
make sure
don't
to
think.
kill you slowly,
Yeah.
or
He's like, don't think I won't fucking do it. Like you can
yes.
feel the rage.
And I think Leto did a hell of a lot better job this time than he did
Oh
the
yeah,
other
no
time.
comparison. He saved
Hmm.
that character because that Suicide Squad, which I didn't hate, but it wasn't
Yeah,
good either.
yeah, I
But
didn't
he
hate
was
it, but
definitely the weak link. Like
yeah.
why even have him in there? He was just a
Hmm.
peripheral character, and it was
Hmm.
horrible. I was like, okay, I can deal with different takes on characters, but this is just like way
Yeah,
like not
yeah,
the
yeah.
direction I would have gone with the Joker. So yeah, they
Hmm.
they they saved the Joker, so you could put that in biggest improvement too.
Hmm.
And just the nightmare sequence was cool, man. That's what we've been. And it helped
Hmm.
to explain it. Like I kind of got it in the first movie. I know some folks were confused with it in
Well,
BVS, but
it was done wrong though in the theatrical. They didn't do it that well in the theatrical. I don't think, did they? I don't
I
think they
liked
did.
it. I thought it was really cool in the
Oh no.
theatrical. It's just that it came out of nowhere, and if you aren't
Oh,
Like, oh
wait. Yeah, yeah. Never mind. I'm sorry, bud. Oh no, yeah, because he was out in the desert, kind of, or it was.
yeah, and then Superman, like, he gets caught, and then Superman comes in, and he's got
Oh
all the
yeah,
parademons as
you're
his
right.
guards. It
Yep.
was
Yeah,
fucking
that was
awesome.
awesome. That was fucking awesome. Yeah, it
It's
was
just
awesome.
that if you don't know what the fuck, if you don't know the Injustice story, if you don't know any of that stuff, you're like, what the fuck is going on, and why is this in the middle of this fucking movie?
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, I knew those stories, so I'm like, oh my god, they're really going there, And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, boom, flashback to a regular movie. This one,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of explained it a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
as far as what's going on, and so great scene. Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, bunch of really nice. I mean, the tunnel scene is great too.
Oh
I was
yeah.
invested in that fight more than in the
Mm-hmm.
Whedon version. So pretty much the whole movie
The
is
whole
an
movie.
improvement. But
Yeah.
those are probably my favorite scenes. Now, our friend Craig did ask me an interesting question. Is like, okay, if you had to cut this down to a theatrical cut, long enough to play in a theater, let's say, how much would you
Mm-hmm.
cut with it still making sense? And I don't think you can get it to under 3 hours without it losing something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think you could do a 2.5 hour version of this movie and make
No.
it any good. What
No.
I
It
would
would have
cut,
failed.
it would have
Mm-hmm.
failed. I mean, what I maybe would have cut, and it's not going to take out that much. The lowest stuff was a little boring. We get that she's grieving. We don't need to see her slow mo into work all the time and grieving. Like, we
Yeah.
get it. Lois is
Yeah.
grieving. The scenes with her mom, there wasn't anything with Ma Kent that like really stood out for me. Those are the only times in the movie where I was like kind of taken out of it a little bit. Like, ugh. They were just really slow. Like her scene with sitting with the Martian Manhunter, which we find out is the Martian Manhunter after. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was cool to see him, but he's in the fucking
Yeah.
epilogue introducing
Right.
himself again. So I would have cut that. I would cut. Justin said the scenes with Defoe. I always forget the character's name, Voix or Volok, whatever, because it's kind of repetitive. He says the same thing to him that Mara does after, which is like, "Get your shit together. You're the king of the fucking ocean. You gotta
Oh yeah.
take up."
Yeah.
So okay, I can agree with Craig on that, but it's fucking William Defoe. So okay,
Yeah, it's fucking William Dafoe, man.
I I
And like
love so
and I'm
take take out Mara, leave Defoe.
oh yeah, leave Mara out of the fucking thing. Fuck that
Yeah.
actress. But yeah, her scenes, and that horrible. Now this is my. Are we talking taken out? Yeah. So I wish they did take her out, or they could have took out the accents because those accents were not in Aquaman.
Uh
So
huh.
why do they have the British accents in Justice League? Like I'm assuming someone was like, "Oh wow, Amber Heard cannot pull this off." She
Hmm.
can't pull off this accent. That took me out a few times when she was speaking. Even in the epilogue where I was like, "Oh wow, this Nightmare World is fucking awesome. I'd love to see a whole movie on this." But
Hmm.
when she was talking, I was just like, "Oh, like please just go back to your normal English, The poor girl just can't pull it off. But
Oh,
anyways,
see,
keep going. It's
no, it's
just
okay. Uh,
uh,
and then I mean, as much as I love the Iris scene, I guess you could take it out without changing much of the movie.
hmm
And maybe as much, and also I love the scene, but I'm just saying, very, very objectively, what could you take out of this movie to make it work in under 3 hours? As much as I love the scene, maybe cut a little bit of the cyborg discovering his powers scenes. Like that whole thing was real beautiful with him following the lady around. But you
hmm
could take it out. You could take it out, and the movie would still make sense. We get that he's a good dude. The
hmm
for me, the bigger storyline wasn't him realizing he's a good dude that could be a hero. Was him overcoming his issues with his dad to say, "All right, I'm cool with being cyborg now." So that could be
hmm
taken out. And I think that's about it, man. And like altogether, that's maybe 30 minutes, if you took all that
hmm
out. Like, I don't know what you could do to this movie to put it under 3 hours, you know?
Well, that's the thing because it'd be my turn to say what to cut out, and
Yeah.
honestly, for me, bud, I think it all worked. And this is the problem: is Snyder, as we've seen before with Batman and Superman, he needs a bigger, different platform to tell his story, not a Hollywood studio telling him you need to make this 2 hours and 20 minutes. Or
Yeah.
he mentioned he's got 6 cuts at this movie, 5 or 6 cuts, and he's got one that's longer than the 4 hour one. And then he's got a 3 hour something one, and then he's got a 2 hour, 2.5 hour one, then he's got a 2 hour and 17 something minute one. And because of the studio kept telling him to cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. And that's what I fear. We're watching this 4 hour movie here, and we're trying to figure out what to cut out. And yeah, we can cut out the cyborg, we can, but I do feel it helps to show us that he's fighting all these things. And like you said, when he's out in the street and he helps this lady out and her kid, he turns around, he did something good, he's sitting there watching what he just did. He's like, oh, there's good, with this burden that my father gave me. And then he turns around and these people look at him, and then black superhero cyborg, and I think that was important, to catch that. And the Lois Lane scenes, yeah, I mean, yeah, we could cut, her grieving, we get it, but it also shows, how she's hurting, because the whole story in part two, is Superman and Lois, and how he tells her, we're in the very end before he dies, she's like, you don't have to die for this world. And, he tells her, you are my world, then he picks up the spear of kryptonite and goes and dies, but saves the world for her even more, And I just thought it was really, it's a beautiful love story there, and it's sad. And, when he comes back, it's even more meaningful. Also, nice little thing on one of her extra scenes is where she's in bed or on bed, and she goes in her drawer and pulls it out, and she's got a pregnancy test there. Where it is, Snyder said actually in an interview that if it went further, she's definitely pregnant, and they would kill Batman in the second movie, and he would end
Yes,
up
and that would have been
becoming Batman. Like the
yes.
son would become
Uh,
Batman because he wouldn't have the superpowers like Superman, but he would end up becoming Batman 20 years later.
yeah. No,
So
that
that's,
was part of his big arc, which
yes.
I think is
And
the reason why he left a lot of this in the cut.
right,
Is
right.
I think
I
that's his way of, and which is why I think there will be more Snyder verse.
I think there will be.
He's a smart dude. He put this in there
Mhm.
because he knew. Because technically, look, let's say, done deal, for sure, you're never going to make any of these movies again. You have your last chance to just put it out
Mhm.
there. He would have cut out all that stuff. You don't need the
Mhm.
epilogue, so maybe 3 hour cut of the movie. Take out the epilogue. You really don't need it.
Mhm.
Take out the Iris scene, take out some of the lowest stuff, and you get yourself a 3 hour movie that gets you from point A to point B. But
Mhm.
he's probably thinking, this is a good ass movie. People are going to be talking. People are going to be wanting to know,
Mhm.
where does the Iris stuff go? Where does this Lois maybe pregnant go? Where does this nightmare stuff go? And
Right.
HBO's thinking, and WB, and according to Grace, even some executives at WB are kind of buzzing about this movie,
Oh
of
yeah.
maybe getting Snyder back on board.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Where can we take this movie after? Like, because, I mean, the dark side stuff,
The
I
problem.
mean, technically, you want to cut the movie down. As much as I love this scene, you could take out the dark side whole battle, and it would still make sense. Just have Darkseid come in with his cameo, and you still understand that, hey, I came to this planet before I failed. I need these things, and so you don't need that whole 20-minute battle to explain that. So there's stuff that could be taken out, and the movie would still make sense. It would still work. But Snyder put that shit in there because how are you going to give us a bit of dark side,
Right.
and we're gonna want more.
Well,
God, it's
yeah, and
fucking dark side.
Yeah, and then they asked him why would he end it on a cliffhanger like he did, and his response they asked him, they said, why would you end all this and all these cliffhangers, or why did you do all this, why did you put all this in, and all his response was the fans cried and made this happen. They would not sit down, they had petitions. uh the reason I gave them this movie the way it is because this is what I filmed and this is my movie. This is everything. And this is what they wanted. This is what they're getting. And like you said, yeah, if it would hit theater, a lot of those things would be taken out. I would not want the dark side fight to go away because I thought it was just cool.
No,
I
me
just,
neither. Me
I mean,
neither.
I'm
Yeah,
appreciating that we got this movie. It was never supposed to happen. That's what makes it so special. But
exactly.
um
No,
but
when I
like I
say
said,
cut, when I'm
oh, I
saying
know. I
cut,
know.
it's not that I
Theatrical
want it
wise.
out. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah,
hypothetically,
theatrical.
what could
Yeah.
make this movie work
But that's
in
the problem.
the theater?
I don't think they can really work as well. We've been shown it already. Batman Superman, it didn't work as well. I liked it, you liked it, but a majority didn't. The ultimate cut does have a higher praise than the theatrical, even with the people not as hardcore. But honestly, if we're going to get the next story, would you rather it be chopped up and thrown in the theater, or him not having his word, or would you rather it be on HBO Max where they're more like give them what they will, tell your story, man, and let's see it,
Giving them
like
something they can feel.
I I hope it sticks with HBO Max. I mean, that's another word though, like that might happen, you know, because now they already moved on from this universe. You know, they
Yep.
got they got the Batman now. Which I'm not gonna shit talk it because I'll go see it.
Well, I mean,
But
yes and no, because Aquaman is still in this universe, Wonder Woman's still in this universe, and the Flash movie, if I'm not mistaken, started filming yesterday or this week.
is it
Like
still
it just,
filming? Because the kid Miller, he choked a girl in a bar back in April. They got it
really?
on camera. Yeah, look that up, man. I just read that the other day. They said he has went silent on social media ever since that happened.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I know the guy that played the dad couldn't be in it. With a November 2022 release date, The Flash was expected to start filming in March, and now it looks like the film is a little bit ahead of schedule. While the
Oh,
picture
good.
itself isn't much, it does bring a sense of relief that fans have been waiting for years for The Flash to get off the ground finally. Okay, so the DCU, The Flash movie is set. Set image confirms it's actually filming, so it is filming. But let me
Oh,
see this
okay.
Ezra Miller story here. Ezra Miller. Uh, wait, what's it say? Justice League fans shouldn't forget about Ezra Miller attack. This is from the Daily Beast. Oh my God. He choked the lady. In a video last year, Miller appeared to attack a fan. A source from the bar confirmed it was a serious altercation at the time. So why is no one talking about it? Well, Justin is.
Uh,
Um, in early April, a video surfaced online in which the Flash actor appeared to choke a woman and throw her to the ground. Wait, I'm gonna play this video, but I can't share it here because I'll get copyright. Oh yeah. Wait, wow.
did he? Oh, wow.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
watching the video. I don't know if I can. Let me see. Hopefully, I won't get like a copyright strike, but I don't think it will because it's not like a studio thing here. It's just
Oh,
somebody.
man.
Okay, here we go. Look, here's the video. What is going on? Do you see it?
Oh, I can watch it on mine. Yeah, hold on. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but go back. Can I blow this up? Oh, yep. Oh my God.
Here, I'll put it big screen. Here we go.
Okay.
But it looks like they're
Oh
joking. It
my
looks like
God.
she's kind of laughing, but apparently
No.
they said it's a serious altercation. But they don't look angry. I don't know. I don't get this. I don't get what's going on. The video surfaced on Twitter and Reddit, but has largely been treated as a rumor. The incident reportedly occurred outside the bar and cafe in Iceland. Um, the incident occurred in April when a few quite pushy fans approached the actor. Although some online Some online came to believe at the time that the video was some sort of a prank. The
Oh.
source told Variety it was a serious altercation. They also confirmed the person involved was Miller. In the end, the source said Riccio staff escorted Miller from the premises. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. Miller, who uses they them pronouns, first saw career breakout in the early whatever. Okay. Well, so he's kind of gender neutral, which I always thought he was kind of gay. So maybe that's why. Okay, I didn't know that. He's very
Hmm.
cute, though. I'll give him that much. My
He
goodness.
was in that movie Perks of a Wildflower. I remember watching that and I liked him in that with the Harry Potter girl, Hermione or whatever the hell her name is. Uh
Oh yeah, I forgot her
yeah.
name.
It's a dark
But
little teen movie. I'm sure Peter has actually checked it
oh
out.
yeah, he's
I
he's on
mean,
that. He's on it. If it's a dark teen movie, he's on it. All right, so I didn't know about that, but apparently, according to sources, it is filming. So we will get so the Snyderverse is not dead. I mean,
yeah, I guess
we're
not.
still getting more Godot. We're still getting more Aquaman. Shazam. That was
Yeah,
a big hit for the
yeah.
studio. So that'll. So what it is its two main protagonists are kind of out. Ben Affleck and Cavill. Although I read last year that he had signed a deal, it was kind of confusing. Like he signed a deal to play more Superman, but he maybe isn't, maybe isn't, maybe is. Um, so I don't know. Let me see. Henry Cavill, future Superman movies. According to, how come I got Captain Marvel 2 when I typed that? That's weird. Okay. Is Henry
Yeah, you
Cavill
there?
still Superman?
Yep.
Man of
He
Steel
better
2.
be.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they'll do with it. Will
Oh
Henry Cavill return as Superman? And this was from 3 days ago. Let me see. Cavill, for his part, has spoken at length over the years about returning to the red and blue, but what Man of Steel happened with or without him? And there have been conflicting reports. Confusion is our kryptonite, so let's make sense of it. And this looks like a really long article that could have just said, yes, he will, no, he won't. He says he really wants to return as Superman. He revealed that in a 2019 Men's Health interview. Um, it's still mine. I'm not going to sit quietly in the dark as all this stuff is going on. I'm not giving up the role. There's a lot I have to give for Superman yet, a lot of storytelling to do. So apparently, uh, he's wants to,
yeah.
but nothing official has been announced as of writing. But it's the clear sign yet that the British actor will be donning the spandex in the hopeful S once more. So there's supposed to be another Superman movie in the works, okay, which is different from the Henry Cavill interpretation, and that's the one that J.J. Abrams is set to produce. That was announced was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And and it may include a black actor playing Superman. So that's a whole other version, which I like that DCU is dipping into this idea of the multiverse within their. They were
But
able to separate
but
themselves from Marvel in that way of being
but
like,
are they? I mean, are they on that with Superman, or are they just before this movie came out, or were they just kicking him to the side? Like, well,
I think before this movie came out, they were trying to do the Marvel formula. Let's build a universe like Marvel did, but let's do it in like three movies
hmm,
instead of, extended. It wasn't working. So I think now what they've decided is we're gonna just put out like with the Joker. The Joker is part of the DC universe, but it's in an alternate timeline. So you can have uh, Joaquin's Joker in, and you can have what we just saw now. What's his name's Joker? Leto's Joker,
you got Leto,
and
Joaquin Phoenix,
yeah, Joaquin. I said Joaquin. Joaquin. No, Joaquin, because I can never pronounce his name. I pronounced it J. I said Joaquin, but
oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Phoenix is Joker. So it's all part of the DC extended universe. I think that's what they call it, not the
Oh,
DCEU.
okay, okay.
So it's it can all happen. So the Batman can happen,
Mhm.
but if Affleck wants to come back, that could also happen. So, and that's what I think they're trying to course correct with the Flash movie. It's not going to be the Flashpoint story, but it's definitely going to deal with alternate. And they brought that up a little bit in the Snyder Cut, where the Joker said, "How many universes do you
Mhm.
see people that you love dead? In your arms?" He was talking to
Mhm.
Batman. So it's sprinkled in there a little bit of this idea that, yeah, we can play with multiple universes, and let's just do it. Let's allow directors to bring their own flavor, unlike with the Marvel where it's very cookie cutter. Like every movie kind of feels like it's directed by the same dude or
Yeah.
dudette.
Mhm.
Whereas with DC, they're willing to a point, because you see they do also, the execs fuck up a lot, but to a point they're
Mhm.
allowing each director to have their kind of vision of what these characters could be.
They
So
might
we'll
be
see.
saying that. They might be saying that, but I still think after Justice League failed the first time, uh, I feel like they were going to go different directions. Like they got rid of Ben Affleck. He was supposed to do his Batman, and they got rid of him.
Yeah,
And then they came up with this Batman. It's coming out, and then I think they were going to do the same thing to Superman. The thing is, though, the fans spoke up and now it's turned into this multi-universe, which is awesome because I'm down to look at different versions. I just don't want one getting booted, like, oh, sorry Henry, you did good, but too bad. I want to see the rest of his story. I don't mind seeing a new Superman, black, and especially that'd be something different. We've
yeah,
we had a few Superman movies. I'm down to see a whole another take on it, a new take on it, a really different take on it, which would be awesome. But I don't want to see one getting booted. I don't want to see. I want to see more of this Superman, which I believe all of us do now.
I
Especially with the
agree.
success of this movie. So, man, I'm all down for it. Hell, bring it on. And I think if they get on board with that and they understand that, then they can have their way of being just as successful, if not more, down the road, you know,
Well,
than
look,
Marvel.
it's the perfect moment. It's a perfect moment because Marvel just finished their big arc.
Hmm.
I'm not that pumped for arc
No,
two with a lot
I'm
of
not.
these secondary characters. For me, they're like second tier characters.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not that pumped for it. I don't know how
no.
the audiences are gonna feel. Uh,
Mm,
and it's the perfect moment for DC to really take the reins and be like, okay, Marvel had a great run. They may continue to have a good run, but this is
hmm.
our time. These are
Yep.
we got our full A-list heroes.
Yep.
Like half of them didn't die fighting
Hmm.
Thanos.
Yeah.
So because what Marvel, they got no Iron Man. Captain America
Oh
went into
yeah.
the past, so he's gone.
Scarlet's dead, or was
Scarlet
her name
Witch.
Black
Oh no,
Black?
yeah,
No.
Black Widow's dead.
Yeah, Black Widow's dead. I know they got her movie coming, but it's a prequel,
The
so
Hulk is
yep.
kind of like
Oh, Hulk's pretty much done. He's like
regular dude
he's
now.
yeah, he's a regular dude, just a big Hulk guy.
Yeah.
So
So
they're going
really, the
a
only
different direction. Yeah.
yeah, the only A tier characters that are left, you got Spider Man, you got Thor.
Yeah, Guardians, and then
Oh, Guardians, they were mega B characters, but turned into A characters because nobody knew about the
mhm,
Guardians before the movie came
right.
out. But yeah, I mean, you got a lot. You got. I guess they're going with like Captain Marvel, which I'm not excited about. But
No,
okay.
no.
Uh,
Yeah, that
so
was.
we'll see. So this is like the DC moment, and this is Snyder's moment, and he has a. I
Mhm,
mean, he's got all the chips on the table right now, and he's got gambling power to say,
mhm.
look, this is the hype that you guys have been waiting forever to have.
Yep.
So what you gonna do? What you gonna
Yep.
do, WB? What you gonna do, HBO?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So guys, we're getting to the 3 hour mark, so it's time for us to kind of wrap it up. Any final words, Zach? Oh, Zach, Justin, on the Zack Snyder Justice League.
All I gotta say is, not surprisingly, because I was already, hoping for the best for this movie. It's a great film. I think if you sit down with it with an open mind, don't expect a Marvel film, because even Snyder has said from the very beginning he's never looked at his universe as trying to be like Marvel. He wasn't trying to do what they did, with his version. He knew it's type of movie he makes. It's DC. It's a different world. Obviously, now we're seeing that it's working. Um, I say give it a shot, even if you saw the first one or in 2017, you didn't like it. I definitely say give this one a shot, man. I mean, there's a lot to offer here. Uh, give it a shot, see what you think about it. I don't know. I mean, I just say give it a shot. It's like Peter. You say you don't like DC, Peter, but he watches Wonder Woman and you know, I mean, he watched that horrible one, the 2017, and I'd love to hear him just to watch it. If you don't like it, that's fine, but at least give it a shot. What else you got to do, on some of your days off, that's for anybody, I mean, it's on HBO, it's 14.99, check it
I
out.
agree. I
And
agree.
people say it's 4 hours, it's way too long, but then you got the same people sitting down and watching some documentary for 4 or 5 hours on Netflix,
Yeah,
straight.
and it doesn't feel like 4 hours. It
And
doesn't.
yeah, it don't feel like it's 4 hours. It's perfectly paced. Great action setups. Very emotional, and it's in chapters. So if you want to break it up and it hits a chapter, go, pause it, stop it, go eat, make something to eat, or go smoke or do whatever you got to do. Go to the bathroom and come back to it. He's got what, 6 chapters and plus an epilogue or something. So why not give it a
Yeah,
shot?
it
So
worked for me, and
check it out.
I'm the same. Check it out with an open mind. If it's and know that, like we talked about in the beginning, it's the snack. Oh, it's getting late. I need
Yeah.
a snack. I'm getting
Yeah.
hungry. It's
Yep.
you know what time here? It's like 3 in the morning here. No, it's 4 in the morning
I
here.
say it should be 4 over there because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
3 here. Yep.
Yes. So watch it with an open mind. Realize you're getting to the Zack Snyder verse, but at the same time, it's like it's even a better movie than Zack Snyder has made before. Like I'm not like the biggest like, oh
Right.
my god, Zack Snyder's the best
Right. Oh,
superhero director ever. For me,
this is
no.
his
I mean, I would
best.
put Nolan, Donner, Burton, like a whole bunch of people before. Even the dudes what was the director that did? Even though he's fell out of grace now, the guy that did the first X-Men movies. Forgot his
I
name
can't remember
now.
his name.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he kind
he
of
he
got
he's blacklisted.
he's blacklisted. But he a
Yeah.
singer, Brian Singer, right? I think
Yep.
that was his
Yep.
name.
Yeah,
I
he's
would even
done.
put
He's done.
those guys, above
Mm,
Snyder
not
as
me.
far as
Nah.
superhero directors, directors of great superhero movies. So I'm just saying that to say, even as a guy that's not gung ho, like, oh my God, Zack Snyder, no, this is a beautiful movie. It's like he got it. He hit a home run here. He's
Yep.
hit some uh, some out to what do you call out to left field three base
Mhm.
hits, I think, with his
Yep.
last movie. So really strong outings, but not a
Mhm.
complete home run. This
Mhm.
one for me, home run. Like he had
Yep.
the right tone with the darkness, but levity when you needed it, heart, a bunch of heart when you needed it. Really
Mhm.
good pacing. No moment in this was it dragging like I felt in Man of Steel. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, how long are we going
Mhm.
to see Clark Kent crying about the past? Oh my God, another flashback to when he was a kid. Oh my,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
even with Batman versus Superman, there was a whole lot of talking and build up
Oh
before
yeah.
we get to the fight. This was like, no, boom. It
Yep.
just flows, for the
Mhm.
4 hours. So real home run. And yeah, I mean, if you can't afford HBO, guys, there's like a whole bunch of sites there that you can watch it.
Talk to
Check
me and
out the
Phil.
first, yeah, check out the first 30 minutes. Either it's gonna grab you or it's not. You know,
Yeah,
you
watch
might
the
get
first
frustrated.
chapter or two. Yeah.
Yeah, you might get frustrated with that aspect ratio, but you might come out like Paul, our friend Paul, and be like, you know what? It
Yeah.
was actually a good movie in the end.
Yeah. That's what I love too. After all that shit he was saying, and then finally he's like, after all that, it was a good movie. I was
I
like,
know.
yes,
This guy's
finally.
too much. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, those are my final words. Definitely my favorite movie as far as movie experience I've had in a maybe well this year definitely because I mean
This year
they had
definitely.
yeah
Fuck, this is the first time, like I said, it felt like a blockbuster I was watching at home, and it felt like a blockbuster at home, like I was
yeah
in the theater, or
mhm.
it felt like that again. It felt just as much as Avenger movie, or their, what was it, Infinity War. I mean, it was up to that
Yes.
level.
Yes, definitely.
So
And these characters deserved it, and the fans deserved
yes,
it. Can't wait for
yes.
Godzilla versus Kong, though.
Oh God, it's gonna be, yes. That's only two
Yes,
weeks, bud. 2 weeks.
I
So.
know. And unfortunately, we've gone back to mega red phase here in Sao Paulo, so we will probably not be able to watch it in the theater as was the original plan, because they were going to release it in the theaters here.
Oh,
Uh,
they're not
but
releasing
shit.
it? Shit.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, it's red phase. Everything's locked down. Literally, like there's
Oh,
eight
yeah.
o'clock curfew. Like
Holy, yeah.
we've had a spike in coronavirus this month. So
Oh,
we're getting like
Jesus.
about 2,000 people dying a day. It's like that bad.
Well, that's
Uh,
because Peter's been running the parties and shit, hasn't he?
I know it's all those parties. Peter's been running. Well, because what happens, guys. Just real quick. Here in Brazil, different than the U.S., we have something called Carnival, which we have in the U.S. It's Mardi Gras, but
Hmm.
here it's a big deal. It takes up almost a whole month, and even though officially we didn't have it, all the Carnival was canceled this year.
Hmm.
Motherfuckers are still partying on. It's almost like you see the stories coming up now with all the kids are like, fuck Corona, we're going on spring break.
Yeah.
Take that, but multiply it by like 3 weeks. That's what happened in February. Motherfuckers didn't give a shit. Everybody's just partying, getting together. We don't have an official carnival, but we're going to make our own. So, yeah,
Hmm.
there was a spike. So in March now, at the beginning of the month, the governor was like, "Yeah, we're going into purple phase." But then 2 weeks into purple phase, they're like, "Nah, we're going full lockdown," which is what we got now. So everything's closed, um, which
I
means
got a
no
way.
calm for
I
me.
got a way how you can watch it. Like, well, I know you can find ways, but, um, like if you get a Fire Stick and you get a VPN for like
Uh huh.
$10 a month, you can
Yeah.
switch your location to the USA, and then you can
Yeah.
get HBO Max.
Oh,
Long as you
nice.
change your like, I use Express VPN. If you
Yeah.
go on there and you can switch your locations, you switch it. Like, say if I do the UK, I can get certain pay-per-views for like $10. It's usually 70, and
Oh,
I just
nice.
switch my location and they don't care. But then if I jump on HBO Max and I'm over there, it won't let me jump in the app. But if I switch it back to the US, it will work. So that's all you got to
Cool.
do. I mean, that's it. I
No,
mean,
I
you
do the
just,
VPNs every once in a while. I did the
yeah.
VPN for Craig helped me out with watching that documentary on Shutter because we can't get Shutter here in Brazil, so I had to. Uh,
Oh,
he was very nice and let me sneak into his account to watch that horror noir, which gave the history of blacks in horror film. Really great documentary. If you
oh, it
haven't seen,
is. Yes, it's, yeah,
uh,
it's a great documentary.
and
They
actually
do
speaking
great
of
documentaries. They do some
yes.
really good documentaries.
No, speaking of which, I gotta watch part two of the 80s. Speaking of long
Oh, it's
movies that didn't
awesome.
feel like them,
Oh my
that's a
God.
long one that doesn't feel like it.
Oh
The
yeah,
first one I watched in one sitting, so I
it
gotta
was
get
awesome.
and watch that. Yeah,
Yes.
so no, I'm down with the VPNs, but I mean, I watch all this shit on
Yeah.
plenty of sites down here. And it's
Yeah.
weird because some of these sites seem like they work here in Brazil, they don't work in the US because I send them to a few friends in the US and they don't always work as well. But down
Hmm.
here, it's like free range. So I watch everything on the streaming sites. I don't even do torrents. I just watch the
Yeah, I
streaming.
just do stream. I don't torrent no more. I haven't torrented in 5 years, I think. I just
Yes.
stream. Yep.
But anyhow, guys, that's it. Thank you, those
Yep.
that
Thanks.
commented and those that will watch during the week. It's a long fucking live, but it deserves it because this is fucking epic. It's
Yeah.
the movie we've been waiting for, and it deserves all the accolades. And it's a beautiful story for Zach. You know, I feel happy for him
Yes.
mostly. Uh,
Absolutely.
for being able to get his vision. Because you don't, I mean, how many times can directors say that? I got my vision.
This is the first time ever that this has happened in this story.
Yeah.
So this is something
Yeah.
special. This is
It's
something
very
special,
special.
and this is for the fans. I mean, this
Yeah.
movie was
Yeah.
for us. Yep.
And we appreciate it.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's it, y'all. Until next time, I'll be back on Monday with Pete not talking about the Justice League.
Talking about Beverly Hills, the return.
Yeah, Beverly Hills
Beverly Hills
90210,
90210, the return.
the director's cut of Beverly, they found lost footage of Beverly Hills 90210. uh, so yeah, but we'll definitely be on Monday nights, and then next Monday we're back. Just one second, Justin. Just uh, with the Brazil Expat Journal, talking about life here in Brazil. So we're flipping back and forth every other Monday. We're doing Brazil Expat Journal and then movie reviews. And on Thursday, the X Files. We're on season 3. And Justin, get on the X Files, man. I know it starts slow, but that's how it was back in the day. You get little glimmers. You get little glimmers of wow, this show could be really amazing, but there's a lot of filler. It really starts. Wheels start turning season 3, but every season is an improvement on the last. And that's where we are
Okay.
now, guys. We're on season 3 of the X Files, starting next week. We'll be doing the first 6 episodes, which are really good. So, talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks again.
Thank you, Justin, for coming
Thank
on. It's
you.
hard to get you
Yep.
on.